following show features reviews from wildly unprofessional critics operating without the supervision of professionals. The thoughts and opinions held by these individuals are not to be taken seriously and do not come from a place of intellectual integrity. This show doesn't reflect the opinions of Criticless or its users. Viewer discretion is advised.
It's time to finally stop the constant flood of filth and propaganda coming out of Hollywood. Fill the airwaves 24/7 with that garbage? We gonna do the same thing.
I'm still here, you shit eaters.
What's up? What's up? What is up, everybody? Hello, what's going on? We are back. Welcome to another episode of Criticless Cast Unhinged, and you're here for my fresh new haircut. It's feeling good, feeling nice. I was being told on like every show that I was going on that I looked like a crackhead, and so I figured it was time to cut my hair. But then last show, all of you guys reinforced me, said, no, Blaine, your hair's fine, but I was already self-conscious about it, so I trimmed it a little bit. But anyways, we're here. This week is a little different because the past few weeks, I've been doing this thing where I go see the new movie, we come in, we review a new movie, and then we do our usual stuff and finish off with whatever movie you guys have voted on for us to review. But I think we are pivoting back to doing more of just that, filling the show out with more news, more culture for boomers, more water cooler, all that type of stuff for one big reason, and that big reason is that it is clearly affecting our other types of videos that we do, well, the ones that I solo record, and it is nuked the viewers on those. And so I think I'm just going to separate the stuff, either that, or if you guys prefer, maybe we'll keep doing it the other way, and I won't do those solo videos because those are too much work. Anyways, we'll talk about it soon before you guys know it. But either way, what we need to talk about today is we're going to be reviewing The Island. This movie is directed by Michael Bay, and I have not seen in ages, but I've definitely seen many, many times over the years, but probably haven't seen at all over the past 10 plus years. So I was excited to see this one again. And then also we've got our culture for boomers. There's some news brewing involving Marvel and a lot of the things over there. So we are going to dig into some of the casting stuff with Marvel Studios, and everybody's talking about Spider-Man. So I'm not going to talk too much about that. Yes, we know it's making all of the money. But before we keep on trucking, I do need to introduce the usual Spud Spec. Matthew Verlack is here.
What's up, everybody?
Yeah. What's up, Matt?
Not much. Just coming fresh off vacation.
Right. You were doing the
kiss, ready to hang out.
That's right. Yeah, doing the whole beach thing.
Yeah, gotta do it while the sun's out.
Right. No, I feel you. And that I think will be us next week as well. So I will be coming in remote for next week's episode, and we'll touch on that in a little while. So next week will be mixed up in general from our normal show, but same time and everything. And as far as Chris is currently not here. He might be here, might not. Yeah.
We are prepared for him to magically show up.
Right. We're prepared. We will see if Christina makes a grand appearance. But if not, his work has been killing him lately, so he can be forgiven for now. And he's helping me build a PC. So, I gotta be nice to him because he's building me a PC.
Nice.
So,
now you're gonna be a PC bro.
I am fully transitioning into a PC bro. Well, I mean, I've been borderline there for a while, but I had these like Alienware laptops, which were like super beefy and whatever. But the laptop game is just, as we saw with my previous one major component goes wrong, the whole thing's toast.
Yeah, and $1,000 out the window.
Yeah, more like a couple $1,000.
I want to say thousands.
Yeah, and so with that being the case, word to the wise, if you're doing the PC thing, I would not get a high-end laptop as your main unit. It's just
I think you can play probably like easy games on there. I mean, you can probably just get a normal laptop,
right? Not
a fancy one, and just play normal games.
Right. You can do lower end stuff, and I mean that was the thing is mine could do everything under the sun and could run everything I needed to run, and then it died and the graphics card went out.
Yeah, and then you're like, cool. Nice paperweight.
Right, exactly. So now it's kind of touch and go as far as how it works. But anyway, so we might see Chris, we might not. If not, then he will be back before you guys know it. And we need to say hello to the chat. What is going on? All of you guys in the chat. Really glad to see the usuals in here. And we see all you guys. Maester P's up in here and old Jake Stanley. And we got username up in here. And Thundarius5, my man, has been going through it. Old Thundarius.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's been going through it. I think every account on everything has been hacked at this point for old Thundarius. So, and he's fighting the government. It has been
that's a good fight right there.
That is the good fight. You know, we'll see. So, best of luck to you, Thundarius. I know you've been dealing with a whole lot over there. And I see J Doge, and let's see, Bob Loves Movies is in the chat, and Life on Marshmallows. All you guys are in here. Marc Andre. I see the usuals. If I didn't call your name, just know we see you in there, and we'll call you out when we get a chance. But today on Culture for Boomers, too, I am planning on mixing things up a little bit. Normally, we kind of do more of the comedy-related stuff, a lot of the funny things happening on the internet, and then usually like a more... pivotal cultural thing that's happening. There hasn't been a whole lot in general this week, but there is one huge thing that I wanted to talk about. I actually mentioned it on several other shows, and it involves music again, actually. And it's really funny that last week I was talking about all of this bad music getting popular.
Yeah.
And then literally like overnight, there's a whole bunch of hubbub about music. Literally.
Like good hubbub?
No, not good. Not good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've seen some interesting theories about kind of like the music cycle and how we're in like a weird cycle.
Oh, we definitely are. And I think there's some sketchy things afoot. So we're going to dig into some of that. And I did want to bring up really quick, we do have a super chat from J Doge with 5 gifted Criticless cast memberships. Thanks so much, brother. We really appreciate it, dude. Thanks a whole bunch. And to all of you guys that do gift the supers, helps YouTube know that you guys appreciate and love what we're doing. And to everyone who gets those memberships, welcome to the cult. We are really glad to have you. And J Doge, as always, brother, thank you so much. And we, I think, are going to go ahead and dig into this Culture for Boomer stuff. But actually, before we do that, one thing I did want to pull up, I'm going to pull up a poll. Now, there's been a movement happening led by none other than I Miss Good Movies. Jeremy, if you're not familiar with him in the app, he has been pushing for us to review a certain movie.
Oh, yeah?
Because I haven't reviewed it. We reviewed its sequel, but we did not review the film itself, and that is The Crow. He really wants us to do The Crow.
Okay.
Now, The Crow isn't Critic-Hated or anything like that, but he wants me to see it again because I haven't seen it since literally high school.
Is it not Critic-Hated? I feel like the critics would hate it.
It does seem like they would hate it, but also there was like a tragic death and the whole thing with who the lead actor was and all of that. So, but the only reason I am hesitant on doing that movie is because it is not streaming anywhere right now. Like it's not free anywhere. It's one of those, if you're watching it, you're paying for it. With that being the case, we could still review it. So what I'm going to do, though, is I am going to put it in the poll. That way it's up to you guys, and Jeremy can't blame me. All right? So look, I'm putting 3 movies in this poll, one of which is finally streaming some places, and we've wanted to do it for a long time. It is an audience-loved movie. And it is it's a personal favorite, actually, of both of ours, and that's Lucky Number 11. It is currently free to watch on several platforms, so I wanted to add it to the list. The next one up, it came up multiple times last month and wasn't anywhere, and of course this month it is. I know we're out of Nick Cage month, but Ghost Rider is finally up and streaming,
and we can always use more Nick Cage.
Right. So we're gonna do Lucky Number 11. Ghost Rider, and Ghost Rider's being talked about a lot right now with the whole Ryan Gosling thing and all of that. So I thought it would be interesting to touch in. And I despised that movie when it came out and haven't watched it since. So
maybe you've changed your taste on it. Who knows?
I very well could have. I was deep into my comic book phase at the time, was collecting all the time and just was really all into comic books. And so that probably played some into my dislike for it. So,
yeah, I could.
Separating a little bit from that could change it. And then, so the third one is going to be The Crow. So we're going to have Lucky Number 11, Ghost Rider, and The Crow. The poll is live. Go drop your votes down in there, and it will be what we talk about next week. The plan is right now, Actually, someone in the chat currently is planning on being on next week's show, and that is Bob with Bob Loves Movies. And it's looking like he's going to be on with me next week, and then I might also pull in someone else from the space. I don't know if it'll be...
Yeah, maybe you can get like Beardo or something.
Right, if I can bring on Beardo or OMB, like Odin or somebody. Yeah. I'm going to try and snag somebody, but it is a weird time, too, where everybody's starting to gear up for school to start back. So, like, people like Odin could be hard to wrangle. So. Yeah, exactly. So it'll all depend on how everybody's schedules are looking. But so we'll see who shows up next week. But there will be some special guests on next week, Bob of which being one of those. And so we're gonna the poll is live. Go ahead, drop your votes, and we'll let this thing run for a while. But it is time to go ahead and dig into Culture for Boomers. So you know what that means? It means I got to run the mower. And so we are digging into like kind of complicated territory here with the music, because of the getting hit with copyright stuff and just all of that. So last week we were doing like really trashy internet music that everybody's making go viral. This is still kind of the same.
Okay.
But there's some industry stuff happening here with this crappy music. And so I'm glad that I primed us last week, because last week's whole thing was about how basically there's a lot of crappy music going viral. And it's due to more like humorous reasons. It's to people being like, I think it's literally funny that somebody had the balls to put this bad music on the internet, and we're gonna like hype it up.
Yeah, and it also gets like earwormy.
Right.
You hear something really bad, but then you associate it with some trend.
Exactly.
And so then bad everybody's doing it, and they're like, well, I guess we kind of like this.
Exactly. So this involves some more industry things, so hopefully we won't get popped on copyright. But before we dig into that, I do want to do a little bit of humorous stuff to start things out. One of which I was just talking about Jeremy. I Miss Good Movies. And I know that him and multiple others of our users and people within Criticless are Aussies. We got some Australians. And so I wanted to pull up this specific video because I had not heard about this this Australian delicacy. And I was curious if you had, if the chat had, if this was a known thing that Australians do, because I can't decide if you guys should be like, praised for this invention or if you should be shamed, absolutely shamed for it, because it's questionable.
My gut
is this Australia's national sandwich?
Yeah.
A fully encased, molten hot, double carb delight. When the Australians were first introduced to the pasta, they said, "We'll take it from here." And the spaghetti jaffa was born. No more than two slices.
And if you missed that, it's the spaghetti jeffa, I think is how you say it, or jeffle. I think it's jeffle, Jffle.
Oh, because waffle, jeffle. That makes sense.
Yes, is that what it is? Waffle.
I think so, because that looks kind of like a waffle iron.
Right. So maybe that's what it is. So yes, it is a spaghetti and cheese jeffle.
Okay.
So yeah, we're going to keep trucking here.
This is a bread, a can of Italy's finest spaghetti, some cheese, and a healthy dose of butter, cooked long and patiently to allow for a crisp golden shell. Vietnam may have the banh mi, or France may have perfected the ham baguette. But can either of those burn the skin off the roof of your mouth like a spaghetti and cheese jeffle can?
Oh, probably not.
I don't think so.
I just, like he said, and he did talk about it in the beginning, he said double carbs,
Oh, yeah. Talk about a filling sandwich.
Yeah. That's a lot of carbs happening. I just don't know about noodles inside of a sandwich. And like Mark Andre, it's like I kind of hate it and I kind of don't.
I would like to try it, but I can't imagine it's that great.
Right.
Especially because he used canned spaghetti.
Right.
Because, in theory here, it's like you're eating a bowl of spaghetti with two pieces of bread.
Right.
So it's not uncommon to eat bread with spaghetti. So it's not like it's the most unusual combination.
Right. That is a good point. And I will say, I have done some weird things. I did a really weird one a little while back, and I chat. This is a good one. Save this in your back pocket for later when you have a chance. If you happen to have tortillas on hand.
Okay.
Leftover Japanese. Noodles, rice and meat.
Yeah.
All of it. Even the yum yum sauce, all of it. Put that shit in a burrito.
Dude, tacos are like burrito shells are the ultimate food vehicle.
Right.
You can put anything in there.
It contains it.
And you're like, here we go. That doesn't add a lot of flavor. It just holds it all together.
And really, as far as the flavor, it's like at most what you'll do, because what I do when I do that is I wrap it all up in the burrito and seal it in tight. And then I sear it with like butter in a pan.
Yeah.
So it gets kind of crispy and buttery on the outside. And so it's a clutch move if you've got leftover Japanese. Highly recommend trying it. It's off the hook. But this one, it is a little weird. You know, I don't hate it, and I kind of want to try it.
Especially if you did like garlic bread.
Right.
I mean, it could work.
Right. You do like a garlic butter or something on the outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it wouldn't work, but I'm also not going to jump up and down and go try this.
Right. It's kind of one of those if you got leftovers. I'm not going to go and buy canned spaghetti to do this.
No, I don't really eat canned spaghetti ever.
No. And I think also this wasn't like spaghetti with meat either, you know?
Yeah. You know, it'd be cool though if you like took a meatball and like chopped it up.
Right.
You could layer that in there too.
That would be pretty good. Or, all right, hear me out. Maybe you just beef up this spaghetti and cheese jiffle and you do a beefaroni and cheese jiffle and you just get a can of beefaroni and then you put the cheese in there. And so you got some meat.
It's really the same thing though.
It's got meat in it though.
I mean, the meat is a game changer and really makes it better.
Right.
Yeah, I just don't know. I think it'd be too many carbs.
It is a lot of carbs.
Yeah.
It's a lot of carbs. If you're a gluten-free person, this is probably going to kill you. So just know that. Yeah.
I've gluten bomb.
Right. It is an absolute gluten bomb. And the first comment here is that's not a jiffle, bro. So I don't know at this point what a jiffle is.
What is a jiffle?
Right. What is a jiffle then if that is not a jiffle? But that is I say that's the number one comment. It's not there are more liked ones, but that one's just favored on top. So, I don't know. So that's a jiffle. I brought that up because Jeremy watches the show. I want to get his thoughts on this. It's a little weird. It's I don't know that I want to try it. Now, got to show you guys a few more things before we get into the music. One of which being that this might be the most brilliant idea, and I think needs to become a national Southern sport. You know, I mean, maybe the Northerners and stuff might want to take part, but it has some very Southern vibes to this sport. Boat jousting. You know what I'm saying? I think that would be dope.
I mean, it would be, but also the sheer amount of like injuries.
Yeah, dude, you're going to be hauling at each other. Now, these guys do at least have life jackets on, you know? So it's like right there. That went in between his arm, actually.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I mean, jousting is dangerous in its own, but you're now on a boat.
Right.
So I feel like it's more dangerous.
Oh, you're going to be hauling ass.
Yeah.
You're absolutely going to be hauling ass and a lot less accuracy, I would assume. Still be fun, though. I'd do it for sure. And this is Frankie Lapina, by the way. This is the dude with the giant fake ass. Have you seen him?
No.
What? How do you not?
Giant fake ass?
Yes, the giant fake ass. What? How do we? What?
I avoid all this stuff.
What are we doing?
Boycotting social media.
This guy's got 9.4 million.
Yeah, all those AI bots.
AI bot? What are we? What? AI bots. This
People
guy's
with millions of followers.
Don't trust. This guy's pretty organically grown. Absolutely. He's been around for a long time.
Yeah.
And this is the guy. This guy appears on like the news and shit for doing ridiculous stuff and stunts and weird stuff. So an account worth watching out for sure. Yeah. Impuritan Thick Boy. Actually, he looks a lot like Dan Vasc looks currently with his haircut. A whole lot like Dan Vasc for sure. So, and he's been doing a thing where he's going and like
doing it? Like,
biting people.
He's still fighting
because nobody wants to see a fight where the odds are close. Yeah, people want to see like David versus Goliath, like a 5-on-1.
But dude, you literally lose every fight.
But what if I won?
Yeah, he's been getting his shit rocked by a bunch of people.
I see that.
But you know what? I approve. You know, it's a pretty fun marketing stunt, which is interesting too, because he was one of the first people to kind of come out because he has been doing this for a while. And he basically came out and was like, look, like, you know, all these people think because I'm famous and I'm on social media and I've got all these millions of followers and whatever, that I'm making like tons of money. And he's like, I'm fucking not. Like, I'm having to.
He must not be doing something right, because there's people that make way less or have way less followers that claim they make a lot more.
I think a lot of people claim to make a lot more is the thing. A lot of people claim to. It's also depends on if you're getting like brand sponsors or if you're up to shady shit or what type of space in the social, you know, media, you know, lane that you're in. So he's a pretty legit dude. I'd say go follow him. Now, the next thing up here, before we get to the music, the very last thing is a new trend that's been happening that you guys need to know about, because I've been hearing it more and more. It's all over the internet. And that is cooter maxing. We're maxing something else, guys.
Turtles.
And no, it's your cooter. You know what I mean? It's the cooter.
Pops.
Yeah, they're cooter maxing.
Okay. Hey, this girl stinks, but the term.
Now, by the way, this is Jack Mack from Barstool Sports. He does some good stuff, some good commentary, kind of a pop culture guy. So worth checking out his stuff. But yeah, this is his breakdown on cooter maxing.
Hey, this girl stinks, but the term cooter maxing is the funniest thing I've ever heard. I just keep saying cooter maxing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You can't spend a few days off the internet, because if you do, you just come back and you just see people saying cooter maxing.
That's what I'm saying.
You just see this woman talking politics on the timeline, cooter maxing right in your face. Where did this come from? It's the internet. This is how it goes. Okay, this is how it goes. First in our bloodline to see somebody cooter maxing while talking about politics.
Now, from all these photos that he's sharing, I don't know if you guys are picking up what he's putting down. But basically, the new trend is for chicks to film videos blasting their cooters.
Just like moose knuckling or like full on?
With just camel toeing it, right? For everybody to see.
Yeah.
You know? And it is the new grift.
I'm getting sick of being the first in my bloodline for a lot of these things. Can we just be second for a change for something? I also saw another right-wing chick do this too. She works for the NRA. Like, it's becoming a thing. Not that you needed any proof that this girl thinks, but everything that she says is just copy and pasted from somebody else that said the same exact thing. Like, it's literally copy and paste. She doesn't even change the words. She just reads a script of something that somebody else said. Internet's such.
Yeah, so it is like the ultimate grift. Basically, they're just like, hey, I'm a good-looking chick. I'm going to sit in a very precarious position, and I'm going to talk about politics.
But nobody's listening.
Right.
They're all staring.
They're just staring at the cooter maxing.
Yep.
Yeah. So if you are on the internet, if you're out and about and you see cooter maxing, now you know this is what cooter maxing is.
A fascinating place. One reel, you see the cooter maxer. The next reel, you see this woman who's building a mine in her basement.
She is.
So you've seen her, though.
Oh, yeah. I follow her.
Okay.
She's been working hard on that.
She has.
It's crazy. The shit she does for her
it's
mind.
Nuts. She's like a full-on super nerdy, like, engineer.
Oh, she's autistic as hell.
Oh, big time.
And it's so fun. Just watch. She'd be like, look, this is how you break a rock in half using a hammer. And I'm glued to the screen like, this is how you do it. And she's like, ding, ding, ding.
Yeah, she got in trouble with the government, all kinds of shit.
Oh, but she also got all the permits.
Yeah.
We did it all.
She ended up.
She makes her own concrete. Like, she was like, oh, this concrete's not strong enough. I'll make my own stronger concrete.
Right.
She's very impressive.
Yeah. And I see that, Thundarius. Listen. All right. I'm all for grifting, but that's a whole different type of grift. You know what I'm saying? I
don't think our wives would be very happy if that was our grift.
Yeah, probably not. I wouldn't think so. But listen, if the supers are right, you know what I'm saying? The moose knuckle might come out. You know, it might just happen, and then I'll be moose knuckle maxing, you know, instead of cooter maxing, and we can start a whole new thing where people just try and decipher where your nuts are. While you're recording the video, you know, they're like, I think they're over there. That might be what's happening. It's only a matter of time. It's going to happen. Someone's going to do. There's going to be
somebody probably already has.
Yeah,
and somebody just didn't catch on.
Yeah, guys, don't worry. Like I said, D-Day Cobra is absolutely cooter maxing. I'm sure he knows all about it. He's probably subscribed to all the cooter maxing channels for sure.
Below her house, and then her neighbor snitched on her. And she fought it and won. Dichotomy. Hey, this
Yeah.
girl stinks.
I guess for it's the yin and yang, you know.
Yeah. I mean, there's two different kinds of content creators. Ones that are just utilizing their bodies to create content, and ones that are actually doing interesting things.
Yeah, exactly. And this one, we'll see how long this lasts, because the trend is very weird. It will only be a matter of time. You're going to be seeing a bunch of like AI freaking people doing this, and it's probably like a dude sitting in a chair.
Yeah.
It's spiraling out of control quickly. And with that AI segue, it's time for us to really dig into the meat of today's culture for boomers. And one of the things that I wanted to get into here, which is this new song that's out. I'm going to play little bits of this. I'm going to let you guys analyze this song. We're going to see if y'all have heard about it. And then we're going to dig into the ins and outs of it and my theories on it.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the song. The guy's name is Phoenix Flexin.
Okay.
They are calling this the song of the summer.
Okay.
They are. I'll just play it. We'll pause every little bit. Hopefully we won't get popped. Now, if you notice by the sound.
Not heard of this.
So you haven't heard it, or you have?
No, I've not.
Okay. It's everywhere right now. First off, if you can tell, it sounds very, let's put it this way. These two guys don't give off the vibe that they made this song.
No, this sounds very fake.
Yeah.
So.
My pocket's getting thicker. The watch is moving quicker.
Now, we're going to pause for a second here. Y'all in the chat, let us know if you have heard this song. I really want to know. I need to know if you guys have heard it, because and the problem is, whether you like it or not, it is a fucking earworm.
Yeah, then it becomes an earworm and takes off.
It is an earworm. I'll give it that.
Honey talk is much louder now, but I can't sleep through the night. Can't sleep through the night.
All right. So you hear all of that.
Yeah.
It sounds like the Smiths. Like a lot like the Smiths.
Yeah.
Not a little bit, a lot. Now, all of that being said, we're going to dig into the rest of this here. And it sounds very 80s, everything about it. All right.
Yeah, I mean, it does sound 80s.
Oh, big time.
It reminds me of something. Maybe it's the Smiths. I'm not sure. Something I've heard on the radio before.
Now, what I was going to do here, if I could find it. Now, this guy, until this song came out and started going, I'm curious if any of his other songs are on here. This is the dude's vibe before this song came out. All right.
The song comes with blown out speakers.
Yeah, literally. So if that kind of that's this dude's vibe, and then he puts out this song that is like 80s synth pop that has runs in it that sound almost identical to the Smiths.
Mm-hmm.
Weird. Okay. Now this dude is blown up so much he's getting interviews. He's all over the place. And so very quickly people were like, this is fucking AI.
Yeah.
This is absolutely
it sounds like AI.
It sounds like AI.
Not even good AI.
Not even good AI. And people have been analyzing it. Now are you familiar with Channel 5? I think we've talked about it in the past. This is the dude that does interviews and stuff. So he interviewed him because the heat has gotten hot on this dude because of the AI thing.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Him and his producer, the other guy that was in that video, double, triple, quadrupling down about this not being AI.
No, it's not AI, bro.
Bullshit. Okay. So
they prove it.
I'm going to play this for you, this clip from Channel 5, give a little bit more context.
I haven't written a song in the last 7 years, and I freestyled every song. You freestyled Rubbers?
So also freestyled this song that is singing. Okay.
Okay.
A little weird.
You can do that.
You could.
I mean,
it's a little weird. This is the type of song you freestyle. But if you listen to the words, they are nonsense.
Which maybe you did freestyle.
Maybe.
Yeah.
What? Do you remember the song Rubbers?
Yeah, hell yeah. Swiping cards and stacking chips. I saw you sinking ships.
There you go. You just heard him sing it. Did that sound anything like the song?
With some filters on it, it could. Maybe. Some intense filters.
Intense, as in completely changed everything about the way.
Because it almost sounded more Jamaican. Not when him singing, but with the first part of the song.
It's actually got a bit of a British twang to it. Because it's mimicking the Smiths, which I think was the AI prompt.
Left me pending in the pouring rain.
Okay.
Now I bought a heavy.
Right there. He literally can't even enunciate this song properly.
Right.
And you're
cannot say the words.
He cannot say the words. And you're telling me that you freestyled it, which means that it was off the cuff and it was going to come out the way that you normally enunciate and talk.
I'm saying like this, that's the way I sound like.
Exactly. That's what he just did. Yeah.
Diamond chain. My pocket's getting thicker. The watch is getting quicker. Money talk is much louder now. And I can't speak through the night. Can't speak through the night. Still see your face on the glass. Why do you call when you're short on cash?
I can't remember if this video shows it. Oh, okay, here. Now, if you haven't clocked it, right here, he forgets the words to the song. He does not know the words to this song. And the dude who is interviewing him has to tell him the words to his song.
When you're short on cash.
I'm losing my mind tonight.
Yeah, bro, you can sing. Thank you. Now the people know.
Yeah.
Bank rolls on the table. Watching local cable. Hating that I'm able. For sure. Stop hating, man. Stop hating, perpetrating, and just enjoy it, man.
He definitely made this AI and then realized he had to learn the words.
You're able to do.
Just able to do it all in a way that they can't. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm a professional freestyler through life. Plastic smiles on Sunset Boulevard, living fast and playing every card. Broken hearts and bitter bills.
Swallowing these jagged little pills.
He blurs together every word. He's done things where he claims that he's performing this song live, and he's clearly just moving his mouth to a recording every time. So all of this leads me to the deeper thing happening here. One of which being that apparently right before he did this interview, he had a call come in with Timbaland.
Really?
Yes. Who was telling him not to like say anything, not to this really weird like
because he's putting himself into a hole where we're all gonna be like, this is fake.
Right. Timbaland has a contract with an AI music company. This dude is part of a two-piece rap group that's been around forever that's put out a completely different type of music. And now he's doing this, right? He's putting this song out. And it's just this magical hit overnight, out of nowhere, totally out of his genre, clearly out of his skill, wheelhouse, all that. I think what we're witnessing, and also this comes back to something else that we talked about on Culture for Boomers months ago, which is that rap has been dying. Hip hop has been dying, and the whole genre is eating a shit sandwich right now.
Yeah.
Like, this has been one of the first times in like 20 plus years that rap has not been on the charts, that is not like doing well, and people aren't caring. So now you've got this guy who's I'm pretty sure he's under Atlantic Records, but he is under a record label. And this song comes out that's all of these things scream AI. I think what we're witnessing is a full-on test. Like, this is an industry test to see what people will be okay with and accept, what people will believe, and then if people will be okay with mass selling AI music.
And the thing is like, I actually fell trapped to an AI song. It was on Spotify. And it just popped up in one of my playlists. And I was like, hold on. That was actually a really good song.
Right.
Listened to it a couple times. And then I was like, I'm not familiar with this band. I've never heard this band before. And I like went home and I had a weird feeling. I think the lyrics were too clean. And so I got home and I was like, I'm going to look this band up. And I never do that. There's never a time I'm like, I'm gonna look this band up on like Instagram or whatever.
Right.
And then I looked at my Instagram and I was like, there's not a single picture of a real human. This is like pictures of stuff. And so then I Googled them.
Right.
And there was like, oh yeah, this is like an AI. Or it was on Reddit. People were like, this is definitely an AI. And nobody's coming out to defend it. And it is definitely an AI.
Right.
Band that could put out a song.
And that is the thing is, so now as a society, we have to collectively come to this point, whether it be art, like physical art, whether it be movies, shows, music, whatever it is, it needs to be acknowledged that that's what it is, right?
Right.
And you can't, that's the thing here where we have a situation where because the problem is, if this is created by AI, even if these guys did all the prompts and they're like, this is what I want it to sound like and all of that, and they're claiming that this thing was just auto-tuned to hell. That's the claim. I do not believe that at all. I think that there's a strong chance that from the top down, this thing's AI. And there's
just, especially because it's so out of their realm.
Right.
Like they could have come up with a rap song.
Right.
Maybe and been like, this was, but even I think rap's going to be even harder for AI to do.
I think so.
Metal.
And the really interesting thing is there's a guy, it's this guy over here. I was debating on showing his video. It's a little long, but his video blew up. And basically what he did, he claims that they are using something called Suno AI, which is what you need to be on the lookout for. Okay. It's a very specific AI company that does music. And it is also the one that Timbaland is attached to.
Oh, okay.
So there's all of that. So one of the big things, well, I'll let him dig into some of it here.
Hi, Rubbers by Phoenix Flexen is entirely AI generated, and him and Perp are lying about it.
Swiping cards and stacking chips.
There's no AI on this.
No AI on it. You freestyle Rubbers?
Yeah.
What?
They did not use Suno. They did not use Udio. They used something called Treblo.
Oh, yeah. The Suno thing was wrong. Is that this guy's thinking it's Treblo, but it was Suno.
Gotcha.
Before Rubbers even came out, he posted a snippet of a song where he forgot to remove the Sonato text from the song. It's also really strange that Treblo used to be called Sonato, and they rebranded to Treblo 2 days before Rubbers was released. And 2 days before that, he was getting accused of using Sonato for a different unreleased song.
Yellow neck reaching out to the garden wall.
It makes me wonder if they're closely tied to this company somehow, or trying to cover their tracks ahead of time.
So it's clear that they were just throwing things out just to see what would stick. Oh, we're going to put out this weird like progressive punk thing. We're going to put out this synth thing, whatever, and just see what happens because people aren't giving a shit about this crappy rap that we're putting out.
Yep. And if we can get nowadays we live in the society where people don't research sound clips necessarily. So if it's something where it blows up on social media, people aren't necessarily going to Spotify being like, hey, I'm going to add this to my like playlist. It's, oh, this is a Spotify song. And they'll never look up the artist. They'll never like, oh, I want to listen to an album. It's just
a song. And then, exactly. And the interesting thing is now, so he is getting deals. He's doing a song right now with another big rapper.
Wow.
And it's in the same genre-esque. But the interesting thing is you can tell that now they have created because they're claiming that this is theirs, they have created a filter, whatever, something to modulate his voice to sound kind of like this. And you can tell that the new song is similar, but he can't do what the other song did.
Yeah, well, I'm sure he's trying to practice. It's probably one of those things he's like, oh, I didn't expect this to blow up or people to call me out so much. I need to start practicing this sound.
I think
that was like that video showed of him like singing it.
Right.
Is him post having practiced.
Right.
It blow up. And that's why it doesn't sound right.
Right.
But it's sort of right.
He's getting there-ish. And I have actually, funny enough, the person that I've heard do it the best, and it almost sounds identical, is Chet Hanks. Chet Hanks, like Tom Hanks's trashy, crazy son, did it, and it sounds like it.
Huh.
And it's not modulated or anything. It's really him.
Yeah.
And so this whole thing's kind of a mess. But I guess my whole point in all of that is we've been telling everybody forever. It's like, obviously, you got to watch out for AI. You got to watch what they're kind of pushing on you and what they're trying to make us kind of accept as this new kind of normal with AI and what it's being used in. And right now we've got Gen Alpha and Gen Z who are like wholesale rejecting AI. Like,
oh, I think a lot of people are wholesale rejecting AI.
They're
canceling data centers and things like that.
And so it's really about kind of the practices and like how they handle this. And because that's the thing where it's like, if this guy's becoming famous for it, it's like, dude, you're not you're not the one making this. You're not the one performing this. Like should the AI company not be getting who's getting credit for this at this point? Like,
and maybe they're like, it's just good enough that we get paid our dues, because I'm assuming this is probably a service that he paid for,
right?
And it's like, okay, it's like a lot of other apps, you know, you pay for them, and other people start using it because they hear that he's gotten famous making a song through an app,
right?
And then it kind of goes from there.
I was trying to see if this was actually Chet Hanks's account. If it is, I don't know if this is his normal account. It doesn't look like it. If I could find it, I wanted to show you guys him doing this song, because it is actually shockingly. Oh, no, this isn't it. Dang it! I really wanted y'all to see it. It is. He really did cover it. It sounds like the song. It's kind of wild. So I think we are at a big kind of turning point with music, with movies, with all of it. And this song is, interestingly enough, like catching so many people's attention.
I'm still waiting for Netflix or Hulu or somebody to do a AI generated like movie or show,
right?
Where it's completely AI. I know we're all against it, but that doesn't mean they're not going to
try it
and say, because there's enough small sect of people that are like, I'm against this. However, if they put out some AI show and it happens to be really good,
right?
How many people are going to care that it's AI generated,
right?
Versus, oh, I actually just really like this. And that's what's going to be the downfall of us all. Right. The whole thing.
And that's kind of my thing with this song and everything is also, it's just like the more this dude gets attention, the more he's just able to get away with lying about it.
Yeah.
Because I would be even viewing this to a degree differently if he was like, I was just screwing around with AI, man. Like, I don't know. I just wanted to see what would happen, see if people would like it. And like, I kind of gave it my voice, and then it went with it. Even some of the things about when you notice it as far as being AI is it doesn't enunciate or like pronounce things properly, where like when he says, like if this dude was freestyling it, he says money, but he's like money, and it's like and there's a point where a whole bunch of words are run on, and this song in general does not follow normal song structure. Like it doesn't work the way a song is supposed to work. It's very strange, and it's very robotic. And I actually think it is a fairly untactful AI song. So it's it is going to be interesting to see what happens with this. Keep an eye on Phoenix Flex, and we'll see if he blows up. You'll notice pretty quickly that he's not going to be able to back up and write the checks that he is putting out here as far as with these songs. I just don't see it happening because he can't perform the way that that this music is. Like he doesn't have the talent or the skill
he
level.
Doesn't have the talent, because look at all of his other things that didn't blow up. And you listen to all that stuff and you're like, this stuff all sucks.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, keep an eye out for it. AI music taking over. And we're going to get to some supers, and then we're going to go ahead and dig into what is happening in the news. But everybody, that has been your Culture for Boomers. All right, and we have got to get to some super chats. We got two up in here. We got Jason Ellison in here for $2 and says, can you play Beardo's I Don't Want to Talk About It? You know, that's a good question. I wonder if it will let me upload Beardo's I Don't Want to Talk About It. Let me see.
I was about to say, if you already have it saved.
I do have it saved. It will depend on if this software will let me actually put it out. I'm looking here. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. Is it going to let me upload it? Okay, it's letting me. Jason, if it will upload, I will play it. I made a clip of Beardo playing golf.
Yeah.
I think it's fantastic. It is Beardo actually ended up loving it. And so what happened was Beardo decided to do a live stream of him playing golf. And he had some, as with all of us when we go playing golf, had some bad things go down,
sounds like golf.
Exactly. Some not so perfect hits. And so it was caught on camera. And then Thundarius, who's also in the chat, decided to clip out the live stream and send it to me, because Beardo made it private also after streaming. Send it to me, and then I was able to clip it and turn it into a fun clip. So I will, if it looks like it's uploading, so I will let you guys know in just a few if my clip for Beardo actually went through. Thanks, Jason, for the 2 for brother. And holy freaking smokes, Bob Loves Movies is in here with a $50 super chat. Freaking legend right here. Thanks, Bob. Love to see it. And he said, unfortunately, have to dip out a little early, but I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the stream, and I'll see you guys next week. And hell yeah, man. Sounds good. We will see you next week. Glad to see you here in the chat, dude. And thank you so much for the 50, because you guys know the drill.
By the time I pay my scientists, all the people in my lab, my developers, the lab rats, it's a wash. Well, why you do it then, cause I'm selfless.
Thanks, Bob. We appreciate it. And I'm looking to see if this thing's uploaded yet. I can hear my computer still spooling up. Holy smokes, we've got it. It's here. All right. You guys are going to get to watch Beardo play golf. You're welcome.
That one didn't count. That didn't count.
Sure, buddy.
Oh no!
No! I don't want to talk about
it. Yeah, so
rough.
Yeah,
I don't play golf, but that looked rough.
Yeah, y'all are welcome. It happens to the best of us, and thanks to Thundarius for sending me that clip and making me aware of it. I chugged out that edit in like 15 minutes before the show started, and then uploaded it on his channel and played it during Bro Science the other day, right before he was about to start talking about stuff. So one of my prouder moments. I'm pretty happy with that edit for sure. But yeah, freaking Beardo, gotta love it. That was a bold move, live streaming himself play golf. I would be terrified.
Yeah, unless you're really, really good at it.
Yeah. I mean, which, hey, you know.
Hey, but then again, that's the way to get views.
Right.
Come watch me not play a good round of golf.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Happy Gilmore, that shit. You know what I'm talking about?
Right, exactly. Which there's this growing group of dudes. I need to start saving some of their videos for Bro Science, where these guys are hitting golf balls like baseballs, like literally like throwing them up in the air and hitting them.
Yeah.
And I've seen dudes get it like on the green with like these freaking line drive hits.
I've seen that too.
Nuts.
Yeah.
I'm just like, how the hell are they doing that? Like, you've got to have perfect form to get it to go where you need it to go.
Yeah.
It's insane. And Jason Ellison said, I think Forrest Frank uses AI to produce songs. That honestly wouldn't surprise me. I have also had small children think that I was Forrest Frank in public. So that is a thing as well. Speaking of Forrest Frank, and also people that, when people think I look like other people, Forrest Frank is one of those people. I don't get that one nearly as much as Morgan Wallen, but we did have a kid come up to me and ask if I was Forrest Frank. So that was pretty funny. But yeah, I'm curious to know if Forrest does do that. It kind of wouldn't surprise me really, but like, that's the thing. It's it's complicated because it's like with some of the uses for AI, if you're cleaning things up, if you're tailoring things, if you're using it in a more as like a tool versus like, I think that Phoenix Flexing song, I think the whole damn thing is AI.
Yeah, I'm sure. Because I think nowadays, I've never messed with any of the software, but I'm fairly certain you can just be like, this style with like,
oh yeah,
maybe like these topics, and then it just pumps out a song.
Let's put it this way. That guy, if we'd kept watching his video, that last video that I showed with that guy, he literally uses the exact software that he thinks they use.
Mm-hmm.
He gives specific prompts, but does not give lyrics and does not reference the Flexins or Rubber song.
Yeah.
And he is able to almost replicate it.
Wow.
With AI, to the point that another thing AI likes to do is it uses a lot of similar phrases and words and things that it says. And these songs that he made literally used some of the same lyrics as that song. Basically all proving that it is absolutely AI and these dudes are lying. And then it's like, well, you're making money. Like, is there a level of that's like, is there some weird like legal issues that you're running into by lying?
That's like that dude that made an AI song and then made a bunch of AI bots and had the AI bots listen to his AI song on Spotify, and it was making money off of AI. Yes, exactly. And get fully gaming the system. And it's like, at what point does it become like false marketing? Yeah. Or like, because it's one thing if you're like, yeah, I used AI to make this, like, you know, this is the deal. I'm not really the performer of this song, but I'm going to try and be able to mimic it and whatever. You say some shit like that. But when you're just like, nope, no AI, you're like, that's kind of deceptive practices there. Like which actually, funny enough, Eli Roth had a movie come out this weekend, or this is coming out this weekend. It's the Ice Cream something or other. Ice Cream Man. Yeah. And he ended up admitting that there's some AI in that movie that he ended up using, and he's already catching flack for it. So he's been pumping out movies. Yeah. Or I don't know if they're all like directed by him, but he's done a handful of movies or presented by, and I'm starting to wonder like how much he's actually like really doing versus like handing stuff off. Right. Yeah, I am very curious, which he did Borderlands, which was an absolute abomination of a film. It was an abomination. I don't know why Eli Roth was like, I'm going to make a Borderlands. Right. It's a terrible decision. It just so bad. So bad. Oh, I try to forget about that movie. Yeah, exactly. And there, interesting. Jason saying that Young Washington used it some too. Yeah, man. I don't know. And they were like, oh, it's just a tool. You know, we're just used it in the background to like, you know, do some shading or whatever. Well, and that is to some degree, like I said, when it's used more as a tool instead of like a primary feature, it's kind of like, I don't know, like if you're using like Canva or something to like make like what we do for the thumbnails and stuff, and you're just like, I need to remove a background. Technically, I'm not gonna like remove everything. Technically, right? Because back in the day when I used to do Photoshop stuff, I would have to, if I was removing, I would have to cut it all out and trace it and use the tools and all this stuff. And now there's just these AI programs where you're like, remove background. Yep. Super handy. Cuts the work down to like a fraction of what it took before. And it's like that kind of thing I can understand when it's like a quality of life. It's doing basically exactly what you would do, just faster. Yeah. But when it is like full blown art, just completely being created by AI, that's where the issue I think is like the biggest problem. Yeah. I mean, the problem is, so like in the movies, let's say they just use AI to like, I don't know, impose something in the background. Like you're saying, like that was something that probably took somebody hours to normally do that they'd get paid for. And now they don't have a job. Right. Because somebody with AI did it in 5 minutes. Right. And so it's that back and forth. And like, we're seeing this now in the, like where I work too, where they're like, oh, we can lay off X amount of people and we're going to optimize work using AI. Right. Right. And they're like, oh, we're not backfilling. We're optimizing now because we're using a new tool to make it easier. And all of a sudden everybody doesn't have jobs. Yeah. And then eventually everyone doesn't have jobs because like AI is doing the whole thing. Yeah. Yeah. And AI starts stealing and doing all sorts of bad things. Right, right. Yeah, we're getting into a weird spot for sure here. Now, what I did want to do, we haven't been doing a bunch of news and other things lately, so we are going to dig into the news because I did put it in the thumbnail. We got to talk about it, so it's time to run the news. Matt, have you seen all of the X-Men news pouring in? I have seen there's castings going on. Yes. I haven't seen if they're actually like official. I'll just see somebody post and they'll be like, Emma Frost has been cast or Cyclops has been cast. And I never know to trust any of it. So I don't believe any of it. Right. Until I see more like official news. So we've reached a point where these things are hitting like Forbes, Deadline, like these bigger sites. And basically what it is it's like Marvel hasn't announced this, but we have official sources within Marvel that are saying this is what has happened. Yeah. And so that's where these announcements are coming from. The very first of which has been proven true. You are in a very complicated spot. Have you seen any Spider-Man spoilers? I don't know. I've seen stuff about Spider-Man. I don't know if it's a spoiler or not. I mean, I think I have seen a spoiler because I've seen a lot of people complaining about the villain. Okay. Yeah. What about? And that is like, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to say it and be like, oh yeah, that was a spoiler for the end.
Right.
But
so have you heard people say? Have you heard who the villain is of Spider-Man? Because you have not seen it, correct?
I believe I have. I believe I know who the villain is.
Okay, who do you think the villain is?
Jean Grey.
Yeah,
I don't know if they've actually said it's Jean Grey.
Well, I mean, obviously,
everyone will be like, "This is definitely Jean Grey."
No, it is.
Okay,
like
they say it.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. She is the official
villain. It doesn't make any sense.
You'll have to see it.
Okay.
They make it work. Well, for some people they do. For some people, they're like having an absolute shit fit about it.
Yeah.
It depends on who you talk to.
Yeah.
It's at an 80-something% on Criticless. Most people like it. They don't have an issue with it, and everybody's liking the movie and don't have an issue with her being the villain.
Sure.
I guess that's the best way to put it. She was the first official announcement of an X-Men character because it's in the movie and it is verified at this point that she is playing Jean Grey. Or that actress, it's the girl from Stranger Things, is playing Jean Grey.
Her casting, personally.
You don't like her?
I haven't seen her as Jean Grey, but she doesn't look like a Jean Grey to me.
Really? I think she definitely looks like Jean Grey. I mean, she's got the hair, the kind of...
Maybe it's that I don't find her like cute.
Okay.
And Jean Grey, in my mind,
is attractive.
Has been cute, and especially like in the old X-Men movies. I can't remember the actress's name.
Oh, Famke Janssen or whatever.
Woo!
Well, and they were all older. Like this chick's like 24. She's young. She's younger than...
So in her mid-20s, I mean...
Well, yeah, all those original X-Men were like 30s and 40s back then.
Yeah.
Like, so this is a much younger X-Men team.
Right.
Which, outside of when they did First Class was all...
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with them being younger. It's nothing about that.
Yeah.
Just she doesn't
do it for you. So she's the first official casting. Now it's come out in kind of these early castings that we do have Emma Frost.
Okay.
And that it is going to be gosh, I'm blanking on her name, and of course they don't give it here in the
news article.
Right,
Doesn't
seriously.
tell you who it is.
There it is, Samara Weaving. It's the girl from Ready or Not. Is that it? The one that just had the sequel recently.
Sequel?
Yeah,
Ready or Not.
So the lead actress from that, I think this is perfect casting.
I mean, she looks kind of the part.
Yeah,
from what I can tell,
she looks the part. Also, typically, the character of Emma Frost is a little bit older than the rest of the like mainline X-Men, but she's not like. Obviously, it's like she's not Professor X's age, but she's like, if the X team's in their 20s, she's going to be in her 30s to 40.
Right.
So that's where this chick falls.
Yeah, she's normally like more established,
right?
Kind of a character.
Yep. And she is this. So this is a British actress. Emma Frost is always British.
That's cool.
She's also a big fangirl, like big nerd. I think that she is excellent casting. Honestly, pretty spot on. She has become known for the fact that apparently when she goes on movie sets, she brings like a PS5 and and plays a bunch of games and takes it with her everywhere.
Yeah.
And she was on a movie where she had to drive and stuff, and she actually brought like a wheel, pedals, shifter, like everything to set and was like driving.
Yeah.
So she seems pretty cool. She seems pretty dedicated.
I mean, from what I saw in that picture, she looks like she would be a good Emma Frost.
Yeah, I think
she's super curious to see how else they're going to build out the team.
Yeah,
just because like one person doesn't necessarily fit my image for a character does not mean like she won't be a good, like a good casting. Like she might actually, like whatever her name is, might be a good Jean Grey.
Samara. God, I'm blanking on her name.
I can't remember.
Yeah, the chick from Stranger Things.
Yeah, Max from Stranger Things. So maybe that'll work out. I don't know if you guys have seen Spider-Man. I mean, I guess you guys know how she is then,
right?
Which
is
Jean Grey.
I'll just put it this way: she's young. They're clearly going for, with all this casting, they're clearly going for a young X team. So Samara was a couple days ago. Today we have basically all but gotten confirmed our Cyclops.
Okay.
So that's 3 of the big 3.
Yeah.
Also interesting here because that's kind of a love triangle situation too, which is a lot of that kind of stuff with the X-Men where it's like Wolverine's got the hots for Jean Grey, and then we've got a situation where, if I remember right, Emma Frost kind of has the hots for Cyclops and different things. So there's a lot of all of that always going on in the X-Men.
Right.
And so with the news today that just dropped, it is looking like, and this guy was not one of the ones being rumored actually, is that Kit Connor They're claiming that it is being eyed for the role.
Okay.
So that's the other thing, is that they're clearly they're doing what early MCU did, the smart thing, which is like mostly unknowns.
And that's what we've been saying. Stop packing these full of known people.
Yeah.
Give us unknowns that have the chance to grow. And I can see it. So I'm like, I'm gonna put a finger across his like eye.
Right,
so,
right.
Yeah, he's got like the chin and stuff to be Cyclops. Like,
right.
That could be a good casting for Cyclops. And I am here for that.
No, I agree. He's got the look, and he's even more than in this image got the look. If I can find one really quick. So yeah, this guy, Kit Connor, he is like, he's done like some Netflix things and so, but he's just very much that up and coming, not super famous yet, but you know, younger people are probably going to have a bit of an idea of, you know, Gen Zers are going to kind of know who he is. He's only, so that's the thing.
Perfect.
He's only 22. Like, this guy's young.
And I think this is what they should do. They should do a young X-Men.
Right.
There's no reason to be like, hey, we're going to throw you guys into an established world. Let us build around it.
Yeah.
You know, and they can do, instead of them already being teachers, go with like the original X-Men where they're not teachers. It's them learning how to work together. And then the second movie or third movie is them building the school, building up as a team, building as teachers.
Right. Yeah, I completely agree. And it's funny. I was waiting to see somebody in the chat say something about it. And Eugene says bisexual. So the funny thing here, and I say interesting, you keep seeing this happen. And I kind of hate this for all of these up and coming actors is, for one, it has been really hard to get work in the industry lately, just with the types of projects that are coming out and whatever. It's become different than it used to be, especially for white dudes. Like, it is just a known thing right now that it has become much harder. And if you look, almost all of these young, like up and coming white male guys that are coming up in the industry have all done some gay shit in their movies.
They're like, we got to do something out here, man. We got to be like, we're playing ball with the left.
Yeah.
So that we can keep acting.
Right. And so, like, the dude that played He-Man, same thing. Yeah. Ended up doing a bunch of that stuff. This guy, that's one of the things he's most known for, some Netflix stuff like that, where he played like this bisexual guy and whatever. And it just almost seems like it's become this like Hollywood, almost like rite of passage of like, fine, you want to get into the industry, you got to do some gay shit in one of these movies. And it's just, it is kind of wild, because it seems like with all of these younger actors, it's like you could throw a stone, you're going to hit one of them. And this has been the scenario where, and so I did some digging because I was like kind of curious about it. I'm like, is this dude acting in all of this stuff because he is that way? And he literally had to get off social media because people were trying to force him into coming out because he was doing these freaking gay shows. And basically the vibe that I got from reading these articles and stuff was he just came out and said he was bisexual because he was acting in these gay shows and stuff to appease these people, because we've reached a point where you literally can't even act in like a movie about like a crippled person without being crippled. They're like shaming people for being like,
they're probably going to cancel and be like, you're not gay, you're acting gay. You're taking jobs away from gay guys.
1,000%.
Oh, yeah.
And so I think a lot of it, you see this a lot with the Hollywood folks, is they'll just be like, I'm bisexual. And that's the like sweeping under the rug.
That's
like,
the easiest way. You're just like, no, I'm bisexual. Whatever.
Exactly.
Do you ever see me with another guy? No.
Right.
But I've said it. And so now I can be in Hollywood. I can be in movies.
I see everyone. Oh my God, this is so funny. Sorry. So my wife is apparently causing chat to haze me. I'm seeing tons of dogs. And then I'm seeing some, you guys posted about feeding the dogs. And yes, the dogs have been fed. The dogs have been fed. Do not feed the damn dogs. I already did it. So thanks for having chat haze me about feeding my dogs. And then we did have a super chat from Life on Marshmallows for $2 saying, you feed the dogs. So thanks for that, dear. What a full-blown hazing about trolling about feeding my dogs. So yes, I did feed the dogs. You're welcome. You are absolutely welcome. But yeah, so this is I think that this dude does look the part. I hate that he's basically, you know, gotten kind of, he's going to get dragged because of luckily, it seems like if the performances are good and if they earn things and whatever, they kind of get away from these like becoming a target for people, like kind of like with the He-Man dude, where it's like for most people he did a really good job as He-Man,
right?
And everybody was like, I don't care about all the other stuff he acted in and whatever.
Like, hate that. Like, we're all like, oh, this is how they're perceived in society or whatever. Who cares if they can show up and be the character? That's all that matters to me. And then it's not on them. It's on, is the writing on point?
Right.
And that's kind of all it comes down to for me. Like, are they following the character that's established?
Yeah.
Cool. I'm more excited to see who else they do for casting.
I am too.
Who are they going to do for Charles Xavier? Talk about something big. That's right. To me, that's going to be that. And maybe like, I think that's going to be one of the hardest castings.
I think they should wait on Wolverine, or if they do, we get a tease. I think they should wait. If they give us any more fucking Hugh Jackman, my head's going to explode.
They don't need to.
No more Hugh Jackman.
Not with a young X-Men.
No.
There's no reason.
Please stop. Please stop. Like, we don't need it.
And we need another, like, 20-year-old. Somebody that can take on the mantle.
Somebody that's younger. The problem is, like, with the aging component of Wolverine and stuff, you're almost better to get somebody that's at least in their, like, 30s or 40s. So that you don't notice the age aging up as much. But still, you need somebody around that age, because when he's, like, hitting on Jean Grey, you don't want it to be fucking creepy because it's Hugh Jackman hitting on a 22-year-old. Like, it would just be weird. And so I hope that they don't. But yeah, this is the guy also. You look at that and you imagine like the visor on him and you're like, yeah, that's Cyclops.
Oh,
like,
I can see Cyclops.
He's got the look.
He's got the look.
Yeah, I'm about it. So I think that could be cool. And yeah, be dizzy. I hope they don't do X-23 instead. If we get X-23 and not Wolverine,
that'd be a really strange
People are going to riot. Like, that would be so dumb.
Like, here's Wolverine's, like, clone daughter instead of Wolverine, which makes no sense. You're putting the cart
before the horse. Right. Yeah, I would hope that they wouldn't do that. So, basically where we are now is we've got likely 3 X-Men cast for this new X-Men movie. Without getting into too many more spoilers for Spider-Man and stuff, they've teed things up for Jean Grey. They've teed things up to a degree for the X-Men. Without saying anything about that.
Do you think we'll see some in Doomsday? I mean, I know it's
these new ones.
I know it's chock full of characters.
I don't think we're going to see any new X-Men.
Okay.
I think obviously we're getting all the old X-Men.
Well, yeah, we're getting every known
previous
character that's still alive,
and I think 90% of them are going to get killed off.
I think it's going to be a nuclear bomb at the beginning.
Yeah, and everybody's going to get wiped out. But like, I do think, and if they're smart, I think this is what they'll do or I say smart, I don't know. It seems like where they're leaning is that like X-Men are kind of going to be a bit of a threat in the MCU. That like they're actually going to be, it is going to really lean into like mutants kind of being the outcast and really multiplying. And it is kind of going to be Avengers versus X-Men and stuff going forward for a little while. But honestly, before it even gets into that, I hope that we just get like a more solid focus on like building out the X-Men and stuff before even worrying about any of that shit.
I hope so too. Like, it'd be cool in like 10 years if we get like a X-Men versus the Avengers, you know, where it's like the Avengers are like, hey, you guys can't do this. You know, it's against like the government's ruling.
Right.
But the X-Men are like, well, it's for our rights.
Right.
So we're going to do it.
And that is going to be the interesting thing with how they handle the mutants and stuff too, because it's like, you know, they always had kind of this political undertone, but they did it in a way where it didn't feel like overly forceful or like where you had to make direct connections to like current modern day stuff.
Yeah.
And if Marvel doesn't handle that right, it's going to be very poorly received. If they're like, you see this real world thing that connects directly to the X-Men, like we're going to make it an allegory about like.
Yeah, but that's the difficult thing. Like if you go back and watch like the 90s X-Men cartoon, like you can definitely be like, this is very like, it's more extremely shown,
right?
But also felt very like, you can draw lines,
kind of, and it was more so about like overall like human rights, right? Instead of like focusing on these like micro issues, which is what I think most people are worried about with like, you know, current Marvel and where they had been previously. Is it's like, is this going to be one big giant like trans rights allegory or something, and everybody just be like, fuck off, like this isn't what we wanted,
right?
And so, but with how Spider-Man was handled, it was handled pretty well, like for most people, and not everybody. You know, I'm not going to unanimously speak for everybody, but I am curious to see where this is all headed. and where all this lands in the end. But I think that the D23 thing, the whole Disney kind of con thing that they do,
yeah.
The speculation is that they are locking in all this casting for that so that they can go ahead and officially announce everyone. Because the other thing is, if you guys didn't know, is that this movie is currently teed up to be directed by Jake Schreier, the guy who did New Avengers / Thunderbolts. The Thunderbolts guy is who's directing this film.
Mm-hmm.
I am one of the people that liked Thunderbolts. You were too.
Yeah, I mean, I liked it. I just don't know if I want to trust him.
Right.
The X-Men.
I don't know. After seeing what Daniel Destin Cretton did with Spider-Man, it's kind of like, I wouldn't mind him doing it. Like,
they should just bring back Bryan Singer.
Yeah. Alleged, notorious Predator, Bryan Singer.
Hey, I'm just saying, he knows the X-Men.
He ruined the X-Men.
Only with one movie.
He did 3 X-Men movies.
And 2 of them are great.
Okay. 2 of them are good movies.
One of them is really bad.
One of them is horrendous.
Yes.
The other 2 are good, but they're also so heavily Matrix inspired that they I struggle with them now because they just, it's kind of like the Christopher Nolan Batman stuff where they felt scared to be comic books. You know what I mean? They felt scared to be superheroes.
Yeah.
And it's not to say that I dislike those movies. I don't. And I'm nostalgic for those first 2. I think that they were solid. But the whole leather suits and just the kind of comic bookifying some of it is I was less of a fan of.
Well, that's the problem now. Look at every Marvel movie we have now. They've comic booked all of them. I think.
Right.
Because we had comic book movies. They didn't do great, but look at the Hulks and the original Spider-Man and things like that. Those are very comic booky. And now they're just like, comic books? What are those? We'll just make up something.
Right. Well, and now they're really are winging it to where all the MCU stuff is just definitely a full-blown separate universe.
Yeah.
Everything is just not. And that's kind of what they did with this new Spider-Man movie and stuff too. They are very much leaning into building their own thing here. So that is all of the X-Men news currently, and I think you will be seeing more of it before too long once D23 and stuff happens.
I mean, they're definitely trickling it out. I think testing the waters.
Yeah, to see what people say.
Slow releases, and there's a lot of misinformation too.
Oh, a bunch.
I saw somebody posting, and they were trying to act all factual that the Skarsgård brothers were going to be Magneto and Charles Xavier. I was like,
that's wild. Well, that's the type of shit you see on Instagram and Facebook constantly.
Yeah,
they have become just absolute mills for fake
and then
news.
People just be like, "Oh, this is just my fan casting."
Right, and you're like, okay, but actually, they kind of would be kind of cool for those 2 to do that, though.
Yeah, but they don't fit. They don't fit it. They're not old enough. Even if they're doing young X-Men,
right? They're still not quite old enough.
Charles and Magnus need to be in their 50s.
They got to get people in their 50s or 60s, probably at least 50s, I would say.
Yeah.
So I am curious to see. I think if we get any well-known actors within this X-Men squad, really well-known, it will be those 2 characters.
Yeah, and that fits.
Right.
And I'm curious.
Which is kind of what they did with the other X-Men movies too, by the way.
Yeah, it is.
It was mostly unknowns, and then those 2 were the big guys.
Right. I'm going to be curious to see with Magneto, because when they did the movies in the 90s and all that, you're like, okay. As he was a Jew in the concentration camps, and they
won't be able to do any of that.
That's what I was going to wonder. When are we going to get to the point where they're like, okay, this is a modern movie?
Honestly, it's you don't have to do that.
But it makes sense for his character. So
it works for his character. I'm just saying, they don't necessarily have to do that exact plot. They could do some different ones. They could mix it up. They could give his character some depth in other ways.
Yeah, but then when people come start rioting,
and getting mad about it,
you've changed the character.
Well, but what are you going to do? How are you going to make him a Holocaust survivor without making him 100 years old?
Well, that's where I was getting to it, because I wonder what they're going to do for that. Is it going to be because he wasn't a mutant yet?
Right.
And so at some point, it's going to be something happened.
Well, yeah, whoever these actors are, if they're the right age, they're not going to even have been born during the Holocaust. So it's it's just not even.
And you can't be this movie. They could say, this movie set in the 90s.
Well, they're not going to, though.
Exactly. So 100 years later.
Yeah, they're going to have to cut some of that. But like I said,
which is fine. I mean, they could get away with that.
Yeah, they're pretty much going to have to. I don't know that they really have another option.
Yeah.
We'll see how they handle it. It's going to be very interesting. Now, one other bit of superhero news that made me laugh that I wanted to bring up here really quickly, and just so you kind of paint out the. Well, I'll just show the article. We'll show the article. The news here is that Superman sequel looks amazing. David Zaslav says, no DC strategy shift after Supergirl misfire. So
y'all need to be shifting.
Yeah, they're on full-blown damage control over at Warner Brothers right now, clearly. What is really funny is he says Superman sequel looks amazing. So if you've seen this title but didn't dig into the news, this is part of why I wanted to pull it up. What is funny about this is that David Zaslav hasn't seen the movie, and he isn't calling the movie amazing. What he says here is, we'll read it here. I saw some pictures yesterday that looked amazing. Actually, yesterday was James' birthday, and he's out working. He's working 16 to 18 hours a day. It looks fantastic. We're super excited about it. So, first off, he's got to say he's excited about it. And he's got to say...
What else are you going to say? Look at these pictures. They're
it
nice
looks like
pictures.
shit. Like, you know what?
But they're pictures. Like, pictures can look nice, sure, but that doesn't mean anything. Like, a picture of what? Like, a picture of the set? A picture of them filming? Like, what do you mean it's a picture?
Right. Yeah, it is. I'm curious what those pictures were, if they were just set photos or like what he saw. The other thing here, so it's like, obviously, Warner Brothers is going through a huge shakeup right now. There's all the legal stuff they're dealing with selling to Paramount, all of that. They are currently having to do damage control big time. They are obviously with him saying that there's no strategy shift after Supergirl. There might not be one lined up yet, and you definitely want to say that anyways if you've got James in the middle of a movie. Like, you don't want to be out here doing press being like, we're done with this. He's fucking up.
Yeah,
like,
they're probably just going to kind of pretend Supergirl didn't happen.
Right. Yeah, Supergirl's going to be, and there's already been set photos, she's in this new Superman movie along with like 100 other people.
Well, that's just what they're doing. But that's the thing is, if she's not by herself, that doesn't mean this movie's going to flop.
Right.
And I think they're hoping, because I've started seeing ads and stuff for Lanterns, I think they're hoping Lanterns will come out and the fans will be at least slightly mollified, not mollified, maybe mollified, just like satiated.
Yeah.
Be like, okay, we got some Green Lanterns doing stuff. Like, okay.
Well, and that is what he's going to, he's got that to worry about too, where like right now, all of the buzz around Lanterns is bad. Like there is basically no good buzz around Lanterns. And that's the next thing, which is very soon.
I think, isn't it this month? Or is it next month?
I think it's this month. And with all of that also being the case, let's see if this article actually says if it's this month, because they do bring up, like, they talk about Clayface here. With Lanterns, if all the reports are true, and there are people saying that rumor has it, allegedly, they're going to kill off Hal Jordan in the first freaking episode. If they...
Bold move, Kyle.
Yeah.
Bold move.
If they do that, you want to piss off the fans? You've got an established Guy Gardner in this world now, like the dude that no one cares about, like before this whole universe started. Not to say that like Nathan Fillion isn't doing a decent job or whatever, but he's not the Green Lantern people are wanting.
Sure.
And you've kind of got this semi like already established DC universe. You're going to give us a Hal Jordan and then be like, by the way, he's dead in this, and now we've got a different Green Lantern. It's like, it just, man, people are going to be mad.
Yeah, well, that's why I saw there's 3 Green Lanterns, I think, in the show.
Well, technically, yes.
Technically. We don't know what happens, but technically,
I mean, my guess is we are going to get some Guy Gardner in it.
Yeah.
Well, they basically all but said that. But what's going to happen is it's going to start out and they're going to kill off Hal Jordan in the first episode. John Stewart is going to start trying to become Green Lantern, but he has no idea what he's doing. And then he's actually going to get trained by freaking Guy Gardner.
Okay.
Because Guy Gardner's already in Green Lantern and he's been one for a while.
Yeah.
And so this is another way of James Gunn shoehorning in the Green Lantern that he wanted with Guy Gardner and then giving us Hal Jordan here. And
yeah, it's just like, why would you have already given us one Green Lantern to then kill him off? It'd be to me, I hope what they do is they're like, hey, like he's like, I'm not going to train you, or he gets called away on a mission or something.
Well, and so that's the whole thing. It's kind of like what we talked about with we've been all talking about with this new Spider-Man movie. This isn't spoilers or anything, but like if they're doing a new trilogy of Spider-Man movies, there's been rumblings about Miles Morales. And it's like, look, okay, I get it if you have Tom Holland doing 6 freaking Spider-Man movies, actual proper Spider-Man movies, and then he's been in a bajillion Avengers and everything else movies, and he's just ready to move on, right?
Right.
And you don't necessarily want to recast, so you're like, hey, we're going to introduce Miles. But it's like, don't kill off Peter. You don't have to kill him off. It's like with Hal Jordan. You don't have to kill off Hal Jordan. Yeah. You give them something else to do.
Yeah.
Or you say, I'm retiring.
Writer, yeah, exactly. If you're a good writer, you write a movie where Peter gets the shit beat out of him.
Right.
And he realizes he can't keep this going. And he wants to have a family and a baby and stuff like that.
Right.
And he's like, you know what? I'm going to retire. I've been playing the Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's basically the premise, is that he's trying to pass on
the mantle.
To Miles. And like, perfect. He can show Miles the ropes. Miles can take over the Spider-Man mantle, which kind of pisses off some people. I don't care. And I'm just like, let that go.
Well, and the thing is you can do it in a way where it is where he's not gone and he comes in some and he comes in for the big jobs and he comes in to help with the big stuff, but he's not a fully like active Peter Parker Spider-Man anymore. He's he's almost what you do is you make him more like Tony Stark was for Peter in the MCU. And you give us a Miles, and I think people will warm up to that a lot better. But so with all of this being said, DC is screwing up big time. And, you know, Marvel is teed up really good here after the Spider-Man movie. Granted, it's technically a Sony movie.
Right.
They're teed up perfectly with this success to be on the upswing. So a lot is riding on Avengers Doomsday here within a couple months. And I am very interested in what to see happens on the other side of things with DC and if Gunn gets pushed out and whatever. But just know that this whole David Zaslav quote is a little loaded, is part of why I wanted to pull it up.
So that's why you should not just read the news head art, the headers.
Right, exactly. He just saw a photo and he's like, it looks cool, guys. It looks good.
It looks good. As
not firing James Gunn yet.
Right. We're going to have another couple movies that don't do well.
Right.
And then we'll fire them.
Dude, but if Green Lanterns goes over poorly...
The thing is, the show... I still don't understand how shows necessarily can be judged. It's not like a movie where you're like, okay, box office made X amount of money. TV shows are like, we spent $1 billion on this. They're not making $1 billion back.
Right.
It's not in theaters. It's not... How many people go and like sign up for a streaming service because a show's on there that they wanted to watch? I feel most people are like, oh, I already have the service. I'll watch it.
Right.
So I always have a hard time. And it's like with Disney, like how they're actually making money on shows.
Yeah. It's all on the subs stuff and getting new subscribers and retaining viewers. And if it's bringing people to, it's kind of like, I think, obviously, they're seeing big metrics with stuff like that with like House of the Dragon, for example, which is still doing well. And it's like Game of Thrones is a draw to where people are subscribing to Max because of that. But it's like, okay, so did you make a Green Lantern show good enough that people are subscribing to Max? Time will tell. But everybody that I know attached to that Lantern show, as far as writing and stuff, makes it, and all of the rumors makes it look like it's not going to be good. And I don't see people signing up for Max just to watch Lanterns.
Yeah.
I think there was a world in which people absolutely would have if you had made a proper Green Lantern show. I think so. If they had done it right, and I think the casting was pretty good.
Yeah.
But it's like, if they come out of the gate swinging and piss everybody off, no. Like, people, if it's got bad word of mouth, nobody's going to be signing up for Max for that. Like, they're just not.
Yeah.
They're definitely not. I see that you guys are, there's a lot of speculation happening about my my left arm tattoo. That is not a bush. That is a ass crack. This was a completely inebriated and under certain influences tattoo that I got at a festival. It is a cowgirl. I'll just, it's a cowgirl. So no bush, just butt. So you're welcome. I answered. And so, yeah, I think that is going to be it for the news. But we did have some supers from Sweet Potato Night. We had 10 Jules, some happy poop there. Thanks for the Jules, brother. And we had 2 more Jules, a silver star from Loquacious. Thanks for that. And then we had John McKinley in here for $9.99 and said, I get this reference. Und now we all hail the Criticless cast, ja. I'm dropping this 20. This is not a 20. This is a $9.99, John. This is $9.99, not 20.
20 schmeckles or something.
How drunk are you, John? He said, I'm dropping this 20 for The Crow. Saw that movie 3 times in theaters when I was a kid, and it shall be forever goated. Hell yeah, dude. Well, that is 10 towards The Crow, and I haven't
I was
looked.
about to say, how is that?
Yeah,
I forgot we
I have not
had
looked
that
at
wrong.
the poll. We've had the
how's
poll
that
rolling for a while. And all right, is our stream still going? Okay, we're still going there. I thought we had the glitch that was going recently where everything was screwing up and it looked like it was. So currently, I see that it's still moving a little bit. We have 94, 95 votes in the poll. Go ahead and keep voting because I am going to call it soon. Right now, Ghost Rider is winning by a pretty stiff lead.
Really?
At 48%.
I mean, it's
So,
Ghost Rider.
And then, yeah, Lucky Number 11's at 15. My guess is a lot of y'all don't even know what that is. And then The Crow is sitting at 36%. So, John, it is at second place right now. But we've got you pushing me, and we've got I Miss Good Movies pushing me. You put 10 towards it. You lied and said it was 20. You big fibber. But we'll take it. And we do appreciate the super, man. Thanks a whole bunch for that. And we really appreciate all the support, all you guys. And yeah, we will. So right now, it's looking like Ghost Rider is going to be what we pick, unless The Crow gets closer, I'll say. If The Crow gets within, what do we say, 10% or 9% maybe?
Sure. Yeah.
9%.
How far is it off now?
So it's 49% and 36%. So it's pretty close.
Yeah.
It's pretty close. Then we'll go with The Crow. The other thing, though, for everyone to know is that The Crow does cost. Right now, it is not free anywhere.
Yeah, so it's not streaming
So
anywhere.
it's not streaming free anywhere. So it is going to be a little bit more complicated to see. I try to avoid that whenever possible on this show, just because I know a lot of the other shows that I'm on, a lot of the guys don't worry about it that much. And so I like to be conscious of that in case people don't want to pay for it. And I've gotten absolutely roasted on the times when we've picked ones where you guys had to pay for them to watch them.
Right.
So I try to avoid it when possible. But it's still 49% to 36. So we'll end this in just a little bit here. But what we are going to do is we're going to go ahead and get into our movie review.
Oh yeah.
Because we came here to talk about The Island, guys. That was the other big part of this show, and we've got to dig into it. And Matt was actually the one of the big instigators in reviewing this movie.
Glad I can help out everybody.
And so I am going to run the spoiler-free bumper because I still haven't made a non-spoiler-free bumper, but we'll run that one. But it's going to be spoilers because this movie is like 20-something years old. So here's your bumper, and then we're going to go ahead and dig into talking about The Island. All right, guys. All right, let's dig into it. I'm going to go ahead and pull up our Criticless page here for The Island. And if you've never seen The Island, first off, well, okay, so this is a weird movie where spoilers heavily affect half of it.
Yeah.
And then the other half, they don't really matter.
Yeah, it's like once it's spoiled for you,
right,
they don't matter anymore.
Which there are a lot of movies that are that way. You know, there are a lot of films where it's like once you kind of figure out the hook, like it doesn't quite hit the same.
Yeah.
I did take a few notes while watching this one, but and I'm going to have a catch up day where I'm behind on so many freaking reviews. It's getting kind of crazy. But I got to get my review up for this one, and I'll let you guys know my score on this show and kind of where I'm sitting with it. But this movie came out all the way back in 2005. It's coming in at a whopping 2 hours and 16 minutes. And back then, this wasn't where we got a ton of movies over 2 hours.
Yeah, back then it was a 2 hour movie, and you're like,
yeah, you're like, this is a pretty long movie. Yeah, now it's like, you know, we got Spider-Man Brand New Day coming in at 2.5 hours, and you know, it's like kind of the norm now.
Yeah, these bigger budget movies. Like, I bet if Michael Bay, I don't think he still makes movies, but if he did, they'd probably be like 3
He is technically still kind of making movies. He made one called Ambulance during COVID and stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't see it. He is out and about. There was a rumor that he was making a Skibbity Toilet movie, but I heard that was fake.
That's definitely gotta be fake.
Yeah, I think it's fake. But he leaned into it, and like did some like joke posts making it look like he was making it.
I'm sure it's some way to make himself relevant.
Yeah, probably. So but I'll say this. I am not a Michael Bay hater. I think that Michael Bay has done some really quality films. This was, and now he's done some terrible movies. Like that is not to mention, the ones that he's done that, are not as beloved. But this one is kind of more of in that kind of cult classic, if you've seen it, you know about it, whatever kind of a space. And it is an interesting film, well, for quite a few reasons. One of the biggest being that this was the movie before Transformers. And you can feel Transformers all over this movie. This was him learning how to make that first Transformers
movie. And then he was like, and now we're going to make a Transformers movie, which I've not watched that since high school.
Really?
Yeah.
Which also on the Critic-Hated list, I have considered that one as being one that we could do before too long, and typically is fairly easy to get your hands on. Right now, with y'all's reviews, it's The Island is sitting at a 69% on Criticless. This is, if you haven't watched it, it's streaming quite a few places. It's on Paramount Plus, and it's free, actually, on YouTube, and so it is a few places, and so quite a few of y'all did drop your reviews, and we'll go ahead and dig into those in just a little while. But this movie is interesting because you can feel a lot of other things kind of on this movie. Now, as I mentioned, you can feel Transformers on it, but this was before Transformers.
Right.
But if you have even remotely recently seen Transformers, you're like, holy shit, the way he filmed this, the music, the edits, every damn thing about it feels like that first Transformers movie, which a lot of people like. A lot of people like that first one. That's a fairly beloved movie, but that one did not do well with critics either. But this one for me, while watching it this time, and I didn't get it back in the day, is I got some Equilibrium in there a little bit. I got, obviously, The Matrix. There's some of The Matrix in there. Absolutely. There's Minority Report, pretty big time in there. Gattaca was another one that I thought about.
I kept thinking about Gattaca. Yeah. And I was going to try to watch it after watching this, and it wasn't available anywhere, and I didn't feel like buying it.
I haven't seen Gattaca in ages.
I just remember I was in college, and one of my professors was like, this was for Criminal Justice, and he was like, do you want to watch a movie and see what our future is going to be like?
Right.
Go watch Gattaca. And I was like, what's that? I don't know. But I really like the professor, so I went and watched it with Xena, and we were like, shit, we're fucked.
And it wasn't far off. It wasn't too far off.
We're getting there slowly but surely.
And another one now that wasn't made yet, that's been made recently, that it kind of reminded me of some as well, was The Creator. And I can't remember if you ever ended up seeing that.
I've not seen that.
I really liked The Creator. It was a bit divisive. I think it has some of the best like visual effects and stuff, especially for the budget that they had for it, of a lot of recent movies, because it had a much smaller budget, but had a phenomenal special effects. The CG looked real and felt more tangible. It was kind of a mix of practical and all of that. So I thought that, and just the subject matter in general, was what kind of reminded me of The Creator with this film. Now, I did have some takeaways that I don't know if I originally had that I have now. This first, my first takeaway, very, very first. Sorry, I keep scratching my nose. I have a mustache hair that is driving me absolutely insane, and it will not go. It is one of those like mustache grievances. Beardo's been dealing with a lot. He's grown his mustache out, but he's letting it grow into his mouth. I'm like, don't do that. You
gotta try to pencil it out. He's probably letting it grow in his mouth because he's trying to get it big enough to go sideways.
Right? Yeah. And I tend to lose patience. Mine can get there, but I just don't like it.
Is the one who's like, stop it.
Yeah,
because I actually had it to the point where I could. Yeah, like starting to like go out.
I'll let it get that way from like here over.
Yeah,
but through here, I just can't do it. I can't. It's just gross. I don't like it. But anyway, so this movie, though, my first takeaway, very first takeaway, which leads into another story about this movie that, if he's still here in the chat, he brought up as well, which I'll get into in a second. But this movie should have been rated R. It absolutely should have been rated R. It's almost rated R already.
Why? Like, what would you have done to this movie to make it rated R?
Well,
and what would it have done to make it
firstly, the thing that I was about to mention, which is Scarlett Johansson's tits.
You know, she does not do it for me in this movie.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
Like, her as Black Widow is fantastic. And I was watching this, and I was just like, she's a good actress. Nothing about that. But I was just like, they're like, she's this model and all that. And I'm like, I don't know.
Oh man, she
didn't do it.
She's
for
a
me in this
knockout
movie.
in this, man.
Not for me, not this time.
That's wild. No, I think she looks great. Well, the reason I say her boobs is because apparently this was an actual story. You can find news articles about it. The whole thing. Apparently, and I mean, she was probably in her 20s when she made this. I'm assuming.
I guess.
I'm guessing. I don't think she was even 30 yet, but she apparently wanted to go topless in this movie.
Yeah.
She wanted to do a scene. There is a sex scene in this movie.
Yeah.
And she was like, doesn't feel real or natural or organic. I don't like it.
That's true.
I'm hot right now. Everybody wants to see these boobs. And can you imagine that James Gunn, or I mean, not James Gunn, it is something James Gunn would do. Can you imagine, that we had a situation here where Michael Bay looked at this woman and he's like, you put those things away. Nobody wants to see those boobs, and told her no.
And see, I don't know why anybody wouldn't want to see the boobs.
Right.
So she was born in 84. So she was
84. She was in her 20s for sure.
Yeah.
She's not that much older than we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wild. So yeah, this is it has become kind of a legendary story about this movie.
Right.
That Michael Bay literally went to her trailer because she was like not wanting to do the scene because she was like, this needs to be an actual nude sex scene. It seems weird. I don't like it. This is like
I'm fully dressed. It seems like a very weird
apparently there was a whole thing about the bra that they gave her because it was this little cheap black bra. And she's just like, it doesn't track. I don't like it. It doesn't look good. This cheap little crappy black bra, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, nope. And the reason was because they wanted to keep it PG-13. Now, a lot of people know with movies like this, what they do is that they make movies PG-13 like this because they know that more people will be able to go see it.
Yeah.
They have a higher chance of success in the box office. They can make more money. And so that's why I did it. But also it's like this movie is so much on the edge of being rated R already. Like there's some kind of gross stuff with how they are creating humans and stuff in this movie.
Right.
Like some Matrix-y level things this movie is almost as rated R as The Matrix, where The Matrix is barely rated. The original Matrix is kind of barely rated R, where this one is almost rated R in the opposite direction.
Yeah.
So there are things like the kind of nudity with it, but also just there's a lot of violence and chaos in this movie.
Yeah.
And they could have went whole hog.
Yeah.
And I think that it would have served them a lot better, would have gotten more attention and eyes on it if they had just went full R. And because this movie wasn't a box office bomb, but it was a box office failure in the sense that it did not make them much money at all. And after marketing and stuff, it probably lost them money.
Yeah, until DVD sales.
Yes, until DVD. That is the thing. This is back when DVD sales and stuff helped them make their money back. They probably made their money back, but that was about it.
Yeah.
So this movie did not do great in box offices. Also could have been to do with the fact that the critics kind of slammed this thing. I just think that rated R would have been cooler. It's already so close to it. And you've got all of these elements where it's there's oh God, I'm blanking on his name. Steve Buscemi's in this, and he kind of plays this very edgy character who they could have went more rated R. He's got hot chicks up on the walls, and they're going to biker bars, and
and they could have made that a strip club or something,
which felt like it kind of almost was written that way, and then they didn't do
joked
it
about it with the outfits and things in its house.
Right, exactly. So there's a lot of adult things in this movie already, even a lot of adult concepts.
Yeah,
to where it's the early stuff. Not to say that it'd be over a kid's head, but you're going to kind of be explaining some of it, being okay, well, they're cloning. This is how it works. This is what would happen if somebody's cloned or whatever. So, and I guess we already did, fully kind of let that out. If you did not see this or have not watched this movie, is that so the whole conceit to this film is that when it starts out, you kind of think that society has ended, that these people are living in this almost bunker type location. The world is over, and they are slowly winning a lottery to get released out into this island, which is the only safe place to live. And that's how they play the first
15.
No, it's more than that.
Is it?
It's
maybe 30.
It's about the first 30.
This movie feels really long.
What's interesting, it actually didn't feel that terribly long to me. I remember I did pause it around when that early half I think actually feels less long than the action heavy half.
I agree with you, and that's why I'm like 15 minutes, but maybe it was 30 minutes.
It might even be more than 30 minutes before the actual reveal. It takes longer than you think it does.
Well, then the action's done very poorly because it felt like this feels like a 3-hour movie.
So I think I can explain why it feels that long to you. It is just with the way that they handle it. But so you get this first half of the film, we'll say half, that is them and Ewan McGregor, who's kind of out. He's becoming too smart for their enclosure. Turns out he finds out they're clones. And basically you're just like, holy shit, this is a world full of clones, and there's not a whole lot else yet, but he's finding that out. And then it's leading up to Scarlett Johansson, who they're kind of becoming too buddy, getting in trouble. He's getting in trouble for being too smart. He finds out what's happening, and what is happening is that it's basically a giant organ harvesting bank, except for they're cloning real people and then just murdering them and taking all their organs.
I love that everyone's just on board too. They have a staff of like hundreds of people.
Probably, yeah.
The launch ladies and stuff like that. And they're all just like, cool. These are celebrities I know. We're going to harvest y'all later.
Well, the other thing, so there's a lot of that because I've seen the nits that can be picked. Like, for example, down here, if you read Ninja Waiter's review, he goes full-blown autism on it, which he is notorious for.
Yeah.
I am not someone to nitpick movies in general. I read his review. I've seen people who say that they're kind of won over by that.
Yeah.
But also, I've read it. I'd say 80% of the complaints I had answers for. Not necessarily that the movie directly answers those, but it's ones that you can easily logically answer yourself, to where I don't think the movie needed to explain that. That is a personal preference. If you need everything spelled out for you.
Yeah, everything has to be spelled out perfectly.
Right, which there are clearly people like that. There's this whole discussion about Mahler ripping Spider-Man to pieces. And it's like, great, I guess. Like, I am not somebody who picks things to pieces. Like, I am not somebody who typically gets hung up on stuff. And if I can logically kind of give myself an explanation for a thing, then I don't need the movie to spell it out for me. What happens regularly with people like this that demand that everything's spelled out, that everything's written out there for you, and every last little thing is answered, what you get is a boring fucking movie.
Yeah, there's not many movies where like I want everything explained out. My problem isn't that I saw a lot of his complaints too, because I was like, I watched this a couple months ago and rated it as a bogus.
Right. And I was planning to give you much more shit until I saw you change your score.
I did increase it a little bit, but I still think this movie feels like a slog. And like, they just keep running and running, and like, they never get tired. They never get hurt. And they're just humans, and they're only a couple years old. Like, I have all these complaints about just like the story in general. But the reason I increased it to a decent was I still really like the core concept of the movie.
Right.
And I wish anybody but Michael Bay had directed this movie.
Interesting.
For me, Michael Bay like made this movie worse. If they had like taken out like half of the last part of the movie,
right,
this could have been such a better movie.
Well, it's two movies.
Yes.
This is absolutely two movies.
Yes.
This is a thinking film that could have been more robust and spelled out and worked through and things explained for people. That becomes not that before it gets to explain all the things.
Yeah.
And then it becomes the most balls out, insane, ridiculous action film.
Right.
For the back half.
That couldn't fully like saddle into being like a futuristic sci-fi.
Right.
Because they're driving Dodge Magnums, but then they also have flying cool vehicles. But then Ewan McGregor's easily able to like stop them. And so I feel like this had a very hard time of being like, here's a cool concept, but we also have to find a way to make it like not OP.
To ground it. Well, I think what it was is, and the way that I interpreted the whole movie and how they handled the setting, which I actually like, is that this is clearly like an in-between time in technology.
Yeah.
Like they're in between developing this like cloning stuff, and it wasn't really situated. They're in between where they're like, they have like hovering trains and like these, you know, hover bike things, but they're pretty much like exclusive to like police and like special organizations and things and whatever, where it's like, it's not in the public. So the way that I looked at it is it's like they have advanced tech, but it hasn't reached the public yet. Like that's what this world is. And I mean, that makes sense. Like that is regularly what happens.
The military would have most advanced, and this is supposedly a well-known, very discreet, wink, wink, very discreet and very well trained merc team. That is like the worst mercenaries I've seen in my entire.
They are pretty terrible mercenaries, and I can get behind that complaint of the level of havoc they are reaching.
Yeah,
because basically what the second half becomes, and I don't hate it for it. I actually appreciate it, because one of the reasons that that back half I like it and I'm impressed with it is because of the level of practical effects in this movie.
Sure,
there is a shit ton of just practical action in this movie.
Practical effects and action are great, but it doesn't. If you're over indulging, it doesn't make a movie better. And for me, I'm on the opposite side. Like, they just kept going too much. Like, they could have completely got rid of the entire like skyscraper bit.
Right.
And I would have been more on board. And instead they fall down an entire building and a scratch.
That's my biggest beef, is the falling from the building on the letter R and stuff. You're like, come on, guys. Like, we've reached a level of believability that's absurd. Like, that scene specifically is where the movie like absolutely jumps the shark and like gets too ridiculous. But also at that point it had been like, we're a full-blown action movie now. We're not a thinking movie. That was just the setup to get these people out into the real world and have them run from mercs.
Sure.
Like, which is kind of a problem. Like, they kind of did abandon the plot a little bit. Like, but I don't hate it for that. I do appreciate that, like, going back and watching a film like this where they're like, I'm going to put all the money, because this was an expensive movie for the time, very expensive, into these practical effects, into the practical car crashes, into just like all of these ridiculous moments, and just like, you could tell they were just destroying shit. Like, you can literally, you can see Michael Bay behind the camera just being like, more!
Like, destroy that bank car. Yeah. Roll these big metal wheels into them again.
Right. And that is this movie's second half, is just Michael Bay screaming more.
And so what they should have done.
And it's some of his worst indulgences.
Well, that is his problem. He's overindulgent. I think that's people's normal take with him. What they should have done is, at that scene, and they get on the cool like helibike, they should have then taken that to, they could have cut out all the building, everything else.
Right.
And he should have then flown that to Ewan McGregor's real person's house.
Right.
And should have gone from there.
And that's what I was going to say earlier, is that for you feeling that way, it's obviously that they drug out the action too long. Like that, and that's exactly what I was thinking earlier.
Yeah.
I did notice it more now than I used to. None of this really like drastically changes my opinion of the movie. Like, some of the nits to pick, like I said, with like how more logistically, as far as like, they would never survive that fall, but also action movie, right?
Or
like,
running through a desert with like no gear at all.
Right.
There's like a lot of like, you could nitpick it, but for me, it just, the disbelief keeps adding up. And don't get me wrong, there's plenty of movies we watch and I'm like, I love this movie. And you're like, people be like, well, you have to suspend disbelief. Sure. But there's something about this movie that I don't know why.
You just can't let it go.
Like, I'm normally pretty cool.
Well, that's why I'm like, you like the Meg movies.
There's something about this movie, even watching it twice.
Right.
Even today, watching it again, I was like,
I think it's because of how grounded that first half is.
And maybe that's what it is. I'm so excited for the sci-fi elements of it. And then they throw that all out the window for, I'm guessing, like half the movie.
Right.
And then they bring it back at the end. And I do like the ending.
Right.
I'm like, okay, this is a nice ending. If they had cut out the majority of the middle.
Right.
I would be very cool. My favorite thing is that Steve Buscemi's car is an HHR with flames on
Dude,
it.
it's so ludicrous. And that's what I mean also about like in between times.
Yeah.
They're clearly still kind of close to when the movie came out.
2019.
Exactly. It's not that far in the future, which is funny. Like, I kind of like that. And there's some concept cars in this that they actually destroy. And there is some of the cool Michael Bayisms that I don't have an issue with in this movie. It is too long. Like, I can absolutely give you that.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a bad movie. Now, one thing I did want to bring up too is I see my Dixie said, why couldn't they just hold the camera steady?
Dude, that and like the constant cuts.
Yeah.
And the shade, the lighting.
What's really funny is, have you seen a Christopher Nolan movie? Have you seen the fucking Odyssey?
No.
This movie is edited better than the Odyssey. I'm just going to say that. And I mean it with all of my chest and heart and soul, is that like, but so with that, that was a very much a thing of the times. Like, we've gone back.
It was. I'm sure Transformers I'd have a hard time with.
I think it's actually better in Transformers 1 than it was in this movie. There is, so we reviewed, what's that Denzel movie?
Man on Fire.
Man on Fire was edited very similarly.
Yeah, it was, but they did a lot of like stylized. There was something different about that movie.
It was brown. That movie's very brown.
Yeah.
that type of cuts and edits were more, but this still, like I said, the editing for even the fights and some of the action moments and stuff are not remotely as bad as what he did in this recent Odyssey movie, which is so crazy to say because of all of the prestige that everybody supposedly holds Nolan to. But like it is, and even I rewatched I rewatched his Batman movies, and the action is just as fucking choppy in Nolan's Batman movies. So I mean, if you go back and watch them, it's undeniable.
That's just Nolan's thing.
Nolan cannot direct hand-to-hand combat for shit. But like this movie there's some choppy editing. There is some stuff that's not. It just depends. But that was a very stylized thing at the time that a lot of people were doing. And you get the lens flares, and you get there was a lot. People were really experimenting during this time.
Oh yeah,
and you can absolutely clock an early 2000s film, like boom, like this is when this movie came out.
Oh yeah,
because everybody was doing a lot of the same shit, and you can feel it in this movie. But I've gotten kind of to where I view movies kind of, I try to view them through the time that they came out.
Yeah,
you know, where it's like, I get it. Like some of that stuff hasn't necessarily aged as well, but if you watch a handful of movies from that time, it was something that they did. So it's like, how do you gauge that? It wasn't a great style. I'm glad that people got away from that. I guess everybody except for Christopher Nolan. But my shade will not stop for Christopher Nolan going forward. He's going to really have to redeem himself for me to give a crap. But this movie for me, after seeing it this time, now if you had asked me back in the day, I would have been like 80 something, 90%. Like this movie's the shit. Like,
and even I said in my reviews, like I really liked it. I remember really liking it, but I think I was before, like I was just an action guy,
right?
But not more of a science fiction,
right?
And now I'm enjoying more like science fiction. So that's where rewatching it, I was going in the mindset like, oh, I'm gonna love this movie, and then it
kind of let me down. Yeah, because you want it to be something like Equilibrium or some of those others that I brought up.
Yeah.
And it's not. Like, it kind of gets its concept out of the way so that it can get to the action. And then it goes back to after the action being like, and by the way, we're going to save all those clones. And that's it.
Like button this up.
Right. And so it doesn't really get into like any of the theory, it's not a thinking film really after that first half. Like you think it's heading that way and it just doesn't, which I'm fine with. If you want to be an action movie, be an action movie and you're just looking for your setting. But for me, this is a high rad still. I like it. I'm going to give it about a 78.
Okay.
I still think this movie is good. I think it's fun. I definitely don't think it is a bad movie. Like I don't think it's a bad movie. I think that it makes some mistakes, and I can see where people would want it to be other things. I can see where the action people would have been like, I wish you just would have made a whole action movie. Like, and then I can also see where, you want that deeper sci-fi film, because that the earlier half of it doesn't really feel like a typical Michael Bay movie.
Right. No, I would almost guess that somebody else directed the first like half of it, while you still don't know what the island is.
Right.
Because it doesn't feel like that at all.
Yeah. And so I kind of wish that we had gotten that movie also, gotten that in more depth. And because there was a lot more cool stuff to mine there. But I think Ewan McGregor did a great job in this movie.
Oh, yeah. Playing two of himself. Very different kind of people. I think he and Scarlett did a great job.
Yeah.
And a lot of the cast did a great job.
Yeah, I agree. And like I said, there are all those nits to pick. We could like kind of go through those, but we'd be here all freaking day.
We'd be here all day.
Yeah, but like I said, I did read Ninja Waiter's review, and like there was a lot of things that I had answers for, and there were a lot of them also where I'm like, why do you need that answered really? Like,
it's probably more that it kept building. And so it's one of those things, because this kind of happened to me with this movie too, where I'm like, okay, that doesn't quite make sense. I'm gonna have to come up with some explanation. Oh, and then it happened again, and then it happens again, and you just keep having to be like, oh, I have to fill in all this backstory that I shouldn't have these questions,
because they leave a lot for you, because it is a very kind of sci-fi rich story early on. And so unfortunately for them, in the way that it's structured, they do leave a lot for you to have to answer, and I think most of it can be. I don't really think it's that big of a deal. But the whole thing is that it would just be an endless debate, because both sides are just kind of speculating, right? Because you're not left with that material there. Like you don't have it. So it's like I go into this watching like this is an action movie. You know, it's a friggin' action movie. This isn't gonna have the depth of even Equilibrium, which is also an action movie, but it leans more to the other side.
Right.
You know, it just doesn't have that depth, and that's fine. Every movie doesn't have to be that. And maybe you're not the type of person that likes that, and that's fine.
I'm starting to think I don't like Michael Bay movies.
Okay. See, and
I think I'm like very like I don't know if I've ever been like a huge fan of his movies.
Right.
But
because I like
The Rock, but there was also like his chase sequences where I was just like,
oh, I like
these
The Rock.
feel like bad. And now like that for me, it was the Michael Bay-isms in that movie. That was just like, I don't like this. And
what about like Bad Boys movies?
I like Bad Boys 2. I remember really liking that in high school.
Armageddon.
I haven't seen that since high school.
Armageddon was great back in the day.
I mean, I remember these are movies I remember watching 20 years ago.
Right.
I mean, like these are cool movies.
Like maybe I need to go back.
Now, I don't know. Bad Boys 2, I love that movie. Bad Boys 1, don't remember it. I don't think I've seen 3 or 4. I don't know if he directed any of those.
Right. But, and I do see, I saw someone say Dan Vasquez in here. I haven't seen him, but if Dan is in here, what up, brother? How's it going? But with these old I like Michael Bay. I'm not one of those Michael Bay haters. There are absolute Michael Bay haters out there. One that I like a lot that people are super torn on.
Oh yeah,
is Pain and Gain. I actually,
we both like that.
Yeah.
I understand why people have beefs with it,
right?
Because they're like the victim was kind of like painted badly,
right?
The real life victim,
right?
Was painted badly,
right?
But I think we saw it together, and I really liked it then.
Right. I had fun with it. I like it. Like, you know, he's got I like the first and the kind of the second and the third of the Transformers movies, and then they get really bad.
Yeah, I can't remember which one is the 4 or 5. I just remember being like, this is so dumb.
Yeah,
CGI was so bad.
Some of it was the CGI got so bad that it was like borderline unwatchable.
Yeah. I think I'm on the same boat though with Transformers.
Yeah. So, but like some of those others I'd need to go back to. So it's like, I don't hate his movies, but he's got a style, like you can clock it from a mile away.
Movies I just don't revisit.
Right.
I rewatch like a lot of things.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, almost all of his movies, I do not rewatch.
Right.
Maybe because they're so long and they feel it. I don't know. There's just something about him I don't
yeah, and he's basically kind of hung it up now, but he's also produced a lot of pretty good things. Like he produced Black Sails, one of the best shows, like Excellent Pirate Show.
Maybe he's just a better producer than director.
Maybe like he's tied to a lot, like The Quiet Place, like the first one, and certain movies like well, I think all of The Quiet Places he's been like producing. He produced the Purge movies. He obviously did the early Bad Boys movies and stuff. So I mean, he's one of those people. He's either going to be your brand or he's not. And I think that he has produced some pretty decent stuff. And yeah, Impaired in 13 Hours was pretty solid too. That was another good one. So I don't hate his movies, but I also get, you know, he's super action heavy. You got to be okay with explosions and loud noises and, you know, hot chicks, and that's kind of his vibe. He's just, and very like, especially his early stuff, he was deep into just like, and that's the other thing I was just about to say, Toby, is like very Americana. Like he is a patriot. Like he's, you know, in his movies, you're going to find American flags flying, and that's just kind of his vibe. And maybe that's why he's had less work, because Hollywood has become pretty unpatriotic of late. Yeah. So
maybe that is why. Maybe he's just like, I'm not messing with this anymore.
Right. It very well could be. So with this, though, like I said, I give The Island about a 78%. Okay. I think it's fun. I think it's a good time. I don't rate it as high as I used to, but like I said, I'm going to continue to kind of view it through an action lens. Sure. It's an action movie, and I did think that a lot of the like car chases and shit were pretty cool, and like just watching stuff blowing up and getting destroyed. But there's moments that you're just like, come on, like the falling from the building. Also, like there's a bit where Scarlett Johansson just like sneaks a gun into they let her just sneak a gun into the compound, and she shoots
the lead. I can't remember his name, and I always mess it up. But the lead mercenary decides to like flip.
Damon Hinsu, or however you say his name.
No reason, really. Like they never explained it. They never showed any indications that he was gonna flip until the very end, and they were like, "Oh, you're gonna kill her anyways." Well, yeah, because it still could save.
I think it's because he killed Ewan McGregor.
So he killed the wrong one.
And he didn't know that he actually killed the wrong one. The bigger thing is that he got to go into the compound, and he saw that they were lying. He saw that these people, so when they captured Scarlett Johansson, they showed her, she was crying, she was upset, and so the big thing is he was earlier in the movie told these things don't have emotions, they're not humans, they're not whatever, and then he got to see them behave as humans.
This movie's so long, I totally forgot that happened.
Yeah,
in the beginning.
And that is the thing, is they do set up and quiet, subtly allude to certain things, and how this world could work and how you could come up with answers. But like you said, there's a lot to it. It's long. And we haven't even brought up Sean Bean's in this movie. Does a solid job. He's good.
And he dies.
And he dies, like always. He did.
He is good. I have a hard time with the whole theory in this. They didn't think you're going to take all these people that are probably pretty smart, at least some of them are very smart, and they weren't going to figure out this was fake.
Well, they weren't smart at first. That was the thing.
No, but if you're basing it on a smart human being,
right?
If you clone Albert Einstein,
right?
Albert Einstein's brain, is going to make connections,
right?
And they just were like, we're not going to worry about that.
Well, yeah, it wasn't smart.
And they didn't worry about it until they realized the echoes were developing.
I think also, kind of like I said, where you can kind of extrapolate with this movie is they made it clear that they had tried to just make the organs.
Yeah.
And
no, I get it.
So the whole thing is, it's you think about it. They start this business, right? They get deep into it. It's costing millions of dollars.
Yeah.
And they're already in the hole. They're already doing it. And they're like, we're going to have to do this undercover. We're going to have to do it behind the scenes. And so they're like, that's when they decide, we're going to have to really clone people.
Sure. But then again, you keep people alive in hospitals for long periods of time, and there's people there in comas. So why wouldn't they have just grown a clone, put it in a medically induced coma?
Well, they couldn't do that because organs.
They said they couldn't.
No. It's because the organs. They explain all this. That's what I'm saying. And this is a lot of shit that Ninja brought up.
They did, but then again, I'm just it also didn't make sense.
Well, no, what they had to do was they had to keep these bodies in peak performance and in the best, because that's the thing is you don't want organs to deteriorate,
muscles,
and you don't know what they're going to need. You don't know what the person's going to need.
Yeah.
So it can't be some unconscious person or thing. They have to be physically fit.
Sure.
They have to be in the best possible shape. It also, if they happen to need other types of vital organs that could, you don't want any possibility of an organ or a body part or whatever to negatively
developed.
Yep, to be underdeveloped and not affect not properly help the person it's going to. So I think all of that kind of works. It's just, they didn't explain it though either. I mean,
they did, and I heard them quietly explain it, because it's Sean Bean will say one line and it's supposed to explain the whole thing. I don't know. I still there's something about it. The second time I've watched it, there's still something about this,
right?
Where I'm this just doesn't.
Yeah, it's because it doesn't fully commit.
Yeah,
it doesn't fully commit.
I think that's probably what it is. They were like, you know what? Let's not fully commit to explaining the sci-fi of it. Let's make an action movie.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it was. And it's because it's Michael Bay, of course. That's what he does. He makes action movies.
Right. And then somebody pitched, hey, make a sci-fi movie. And he's like, but can I make it action?
Right.
And they're like,
mostly
sure.
action.
You can do a car scene. And he's like, a car scene that never ends.
Right. Multiple cars. Because it's you'll have a massive set piece. And then they're a couple seconds of talking. And then they're how about another massive set piece?
And another car chase.
Yeah.
And here's a really cool looking boat.
Yeah. Exactly. And all of that is textbook Michael Bay. So you kind of it's what you get with him. So and really quick, we do need to touch in on y'all's reviews, because you have reviewed it, and I want to refresh here just to make sure. And see, there we go. While we were going, John Ray dropped his review. Let's freaking go, John Ray! He gave it 100. That's what's
100.
And he said he had heard forever that it was terrible, and he hadn't planned on watching it. And I guess since we pushed him to watch it, he did, and he freaking loved it. Let's go, dude. You make me want to put my score higher just because of how much fun you had with it. I think this movie's a blast. That is the thing.
This is one of the few movies that I had to feel felt like I was slogging through it.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah, that's interesting.
There's something about this movie.
Yeah, it's because you were wanting something that it teased.
I think so too, and I'm really good about pushing through movies and being like, okay, that was a bad movie, but I can find ways to enjoy it.
Right. This one just doesn't click. Movie. And Sari Toby in the chat as well gave it a 70% and said Michael Bay must have watched Multiplicity and The Sixth Day, and then he called DreamWorks and said, hold my beer. Pretty much. There's a lot of movies that you could compare this to.
Yeah.
My Dixie with a 51%. Sorry, Dixie, we didn't find another absolute winner for you, but it
commented on mine and was like, yeah, I agree with you.
Right. So he didn't love it, but run, hold on, look out. Very tropey dialogue. I actually think there's some fantastic quotes in this movie. Like a lot of really good lines.
Oh, yeah.
Like some of them are a little cheesy, but they're still good lines. There are. What, you don't believe me?
Name one.
What? There was
I can't think of a single line in this movie.
Dude, no, there are multiple where I like laughed because I was like, damn, that's a good line.
Okay.
Like there is legitimately some good lines. Like
Steve Buscemi had some funny ones.
Yeah, he did. No, he had some excellent lines in his. And you know, there's the whole like they want to see which this is a quote that's been around for a long time, but it's like they might want to eat the cow, but they don't want to see it. Or whatever. Yeah. Like there's and the way that he delivered it and in that scene.
Buscemi had the best lines. The problem was 10 minutes of the movie. Maybe. Yeah, he's 15. Give or take. I don't know. Yeah, probably about 15 minutes of the movie. But there are he has some good lines. There are a few others too in there that I was actually surprised at, considering that it was a Michael Bay movie and all that. So Scivola gave it a 69%. And said it's fun and has a great cast, but I don't think about it too hard. And don't. I mean, that's the thing. When you approach these kind of action movies, it's like, don't think about it too hard. Right.
You know? Don't think about it too hard. I want to see who downvoted Jeremy here. Hillbilly downvoted Jeremy. What'd you do to Hillbilly, man? And Jeremy gave it a 68%. I miss good movies and said, sometimes you start watching one movie and then by the end you find out you're watching a different one. Yep, exactly. And funny enough, I had not read your review yet and kind of came away with the same thing. This is absolutely two different movies. 100%. Life on Marshmallows gave it a 70% as well. Not necessarily over the moon about it, but still liked it. Said you were still entertained. Bob Rogers as well said, I just have a feeling that something is wrong. Hey, that's a quote from the movie, not necessarily very deep, but and gave it a 75%. Hey, that's a pretty solid score, not too far from most excellent. And let's see here. We still got some of the others here. Mooney here gave it a 65%. We got Round Triangles with the 69, and we got Maester P with a freaking 90%. Let's go. Love to see it. And Eagle Thrasher with an 82 from 2 days ago. And then we get into some of the older ones, but we got Odysseus in here and Jake, both of which in the chat, and both love this movie. Let's freaking go. And as I brought up earlier, the always curmudgeonly Ninja Waiter here with a 35%. We all obviously need to give him thorough downvotes if you enjoy this movie, because he is the king of downvotes. He's probably earned more than a lot of people on the platform.
Yeah, we almost need to give him an award for that.
Yeah, rather notorious for controversial takes. But we got Chalk Demon down here. Bookstore Thor's kind of lukewarm on it. Yeah. And Caveat Ties in the chat with a 78%. And there's yours, Matt, with a 45. I'm glad you came up, because if this was in a bogus, I was going to roast you, because I don't think this is a bogus movie.
I still feel, but the thing is every time I think back on that, I'm like, I didn't enjoy this movie.
That's why.
And like, and that was the same thing when I first watched it. Like, thinking back on, I'm like, I did not really enjoy. And you're right, Steve Buscemi did have the best lines. Like, there are some. That's why I raised it, because like, there's things I like, and it's just ruined by the action.
Right.
And maybe that's just my old man.
Yeah, you're getting it curmudgeonly.
Like, I'm like, because if I'm liking action movies less and less, like I grew up on action movies, like 90s kid, my parents were like, yeah, here's Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like, you're 8, go watch,
Terminator or whatever.
Commando, and Jean-Claude Van Damme, go watch his movies. So I grew up on that stuff.
Yeah.
And like, even in like high school and all that, I was like, yeah, action movies. But I just, for whatever reason, now
they don't hit the same.
I'm more into like the sci-fi and shit like that. I don't know.
Less action heavy. I don't blame you. You go through phases, and it could just be a time right now where you're just like, this is not the stuff I want to see. And maybe.
Yeah. But then again, I did watch this like 6 months ago.
Right.
I watched it again, and I felt the same.
It could be a year-long, 2-3 year long phase. You never know.
I normally stick to my guns with my opinion.
Right.
It's like when I see something, it's just like, that is my opinion. Yeah. There's a lot to sway my opinion on something.
And Jake is saying maybe some mushrooms and watch it. So hey, that could make it even better.
That would be an experience. That would be an experience.
I like Dixie being absolutely shocked by my notifications. My goal has
so never at Blaine.
Yeah, don't do it. No, I do go through them ish. I do get notified a lot. I've gotten where part of the why they're so high is just because I kind of stopped clearing them because I wanted to. It's more of just a test, just to see.
Right. Try to break the system. You're gonna be the only one to be able to break it this way.
I'm gonna let them keep running up and see what happens.
He's trying to get to 1 million, guys. So can you help him with that?
Right. Let's not do that. I'm good. I am good with that. But I think that is going to be it for our The Island review. Make sure if you have not dropped your review on Criticless and you end up seeing it, go drop your review. And I did end up ending the poll, and Ghost Rider has won. We're going to be doing Ghost Rider next week. Bob Loves Movies will be in here with me, and maybe Beardo, maybe I don't know, somebody. I'm going to see who I can wrangle up. We'll see who ends up on here with me and ends up free, which Beardo's going to be coming back from California and Vegas, so he might be a little too tied up. So I don't know who I'll be. Everybody's kind of been out of town. So we'll see who ends up on here, but I do know that Bob will be here, and we'll be doing it remote. I'll be calling in from the beach, which will be fun and interesting to see if I can pull it off on the beach's internet.
Yeah, you need to show up with like a coconut.
Right. Exactly.
Party.
Exactly. So, and I'll have been there for like a day.
Thundarius said he's available.
You are Thundarius.
At
okay.
6:30 Center.
Hey,
something time.
Central. There you go. Well, maybe we can chat and bring you on too. Yeah, we'll figure out. We'll get it locked in. It'll be fun to talk about. It'll be fun to chat some on Ghost Rider, because I've literally not seen it since release night. First showing of the night, like midnight showing.
Yeah.
I went with a bunch of the dudes that worked in the local comic shop that I went to all the time, and we went and saw it together. So
yeah,
literally have not seen it since.
I feel like you'll like it more than then.
Yeah, it's almost next year. It'll be 20 years old,
especially considering the movies we get these days.
Right. You're probably not wrong. So yeah, that's going to be it for that. But we do before we send you guys off, obviously we do have to do the usual send off songs.
Wiener, 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 wiener.
All right, guys, it is time for our send-off songs. Matt was trying to lock in his, and I do have mine, so I can go ahead and give you guys a song to listen to this week if you have not listened to it before. I was going to do this last week and didn't end up doing it, but I'm going to do Night Call by Kavinsky. If you're not familiar with him, actually last week he passed away. He's a French DJ, but this song is like super synthwave. It's really cool. Yeah. It's a rad song. It's his most known for song, which is Night Call by Kavinsky. Give it a listen to. It's been blowing up lately just because he passed away. The dude was only like 50 years old, and he had done some pretty famous stuff, and this song's really cool. So give it a listen to and check that out. And Matt, what you got?
Okay. So mine's Feed the Fire by The Last Slice. We were talking about how rap is dead. Well, new metal is not. And this is a very rap heavy new metal song.
Nice.
Once again, that is Feed the Fire, The Last Slice.
Nice. Okay.
So it's definitely worth checking out.
Hell yeah. Nice. The Last Slice. All right. Well, check those songs out. And we do have two supers here to get to. Subtle Deviancy, member for 7 months, says, Blaine, press M in chat for a Blaine motor oil GoFundMe. I'm only going to be making sure that motor oil is ordered here during the summertime, because obviously you can't walk up ice covered hills with motor oil. That's some lore for all of you guys.
Bringing up some old lore here.
That is some really old lore. And thanks, Subtle, for that, buddy. Good to see you in the chat. And we got Jake Stanley Blue Blazed in here for $5, and he says, Dong of the week for me is Shadowverse by the Midnight. Let's go. Everybody knows that I freaking love the Midnight. Well, we do. Yeah. And I listen to a ton of them, but that's a good one. So Shadowverse by the Midnight. And he says, seeing them live for the first time next month. Let's freaking go.
Nice.
It's been a long time since we saw them live.
Yeah, we traveled to go see them.
Yep, we did.
Great. We were
up to the mountains.
Yeah. Great. Yeah. I just stood there. Talk about a great show to see Blitz, because you're just like absorbing the sounds.
And the saxophones.
It was great.
All the saxophones. Yeah, the Midnight is awesome. If you don't listen to the Midnight, they're synthwave the band, and they are very, very good. Jake Stanley, thanks, brother, for the $5. Love to see it. Everybody go check out the Midnight. And I think that is going to be it for tonight's show. Be prepared for next week. We will be reviewing Ghost Rider, and then as far as me, I'm going to be laying low most of the weekend because it's going to be a busy one for me. So I'm going to have a lot going on. I'm not doing a movie review this week. Granted, YouTube has been sticking the absolute screws to me for weeks now, so I am shifting up how I'm doing things, anyways. And there's not a lot of movies coming out there's movies coming out this week, but less big ones.
I was about to say there's actually like 4.
There's like 4 movies coming out. None that I was chomping at the bit to see because I haven't seen the second Super Troopers. This is the third. It's coming out this week. Then we've got that Ice Cream Man, which is the Eli Roth movie. Yeah. Didn't want to see it, and everyone's saying it's really bad.
They need to stop trying to pump out random crappy horror.
Yeah. I mean, we've been getting a lot of good horror, and I guess you got to get your turds in there with it.
Yeah.
So
don't have to.
Yeah. So they don't have to. But so I didn't want to see that one, and then there might even be 1 or 2 ones. Now, next week, there is some great stuff coming out. The problem is going to be that I'm going to be out of town, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to. If I'm not mistaken, End of Oak Street is next week, which they have not been marketing at all, and it looks awesome.
I think that is next week, and it does look awesome.
Yeah.
Like dinosaurs and science fiction.
Yep.
Like, let's go.
Yeah, and done by a director that I really like a lot. It's the guy that did It Follows. He's directing it. He's been laying low for a really long time. And that's not even the only thing coming out either. The weird thing is, like, that one hasn't been marketed much. And looking here, the other one, what was it? It was
is that Acme versus Coyote?
That's not next week. I think that's the following week. There's a Matthew McConaughey movie, which I think is going to be the one that you're hearing about during like award season and everything. It's called like the there it is. The Rivals of Amaziah King. So this thing did an award circuit a long while back. Got a ton of buzz. It's supposedly like phenomenal. It's McConaughey. He tends to show up and do good stuff. We haven't seen him do much lately. I think it's going to be one of those that you hear a lot about, but a lot of people don't necessarily see in theaters.
Yeah.
So both those movies I want to see. Maybe I'll get to see them after the fact. But so just so you guys know, those are out there. And as Life on Marshmallow says, if you haven't already, join Criticless. If you have not, create your account, go review some movies and shows, and hit that like, the subscribe. All that for this video as well, and just for the channel. We really, really do appreciate it. And we did have 2 supers in here that came through. We got Impuritan for $1.99 and said, what about Pastel Ghost? And I don't know what Pastel Ghost is.
That is.
What is that? What is Pastel Ghost? Not familiar. I'm assuming that is a musician. Yes, it is. I'll check out Pastel Ghost. I don't know who that is, but Impuritan, I'll give her a listen to. Seems like it's a chick, maybe an Asian chick, maybe not. I don't know. Just she is synth. I haven't heard of her, so it sounds cool. I'll give it a listen to. Pastel Ghost. Thanks for the rec, Impuritan, and for the $1.99. Thanks, brother. And Jason Ellison for 2 says, can you explain your rating scale and methodology for it? Yeah, I mean, I've talked about it to some degree. So with the Criticless rating scale, one of the big things for me was, one, I hate the school grading scale. The whole, like, anything below, like a, what is it, failing 70 and below, or I guess, is it 60? Whatever the school grading scale is. Whatever the FD, all of that, right? Like, so everything below is 60%. And that's kind of how they look at it. It's kind of how Rotten Tomatoes operates, where it's like if it's a splat, anything below 60, 70%.
And I feel like that works for a school, because you've got 100 questions and you miss 80 of them, then you get a 20% and then you fail. Sure. But that's not how movies should be graded. Right. Especially when you're talking about aggregated scores and entire averages, right? Where it's like you've got hundreds or thousands of people giving this review, and it's like, let's say it just gets
Well, like with, let's say not Man of Steel, but like with the recent Superman, right? It's at like a 50-something%. Doesn't seem to matter how many reviews we get coming through. It is just constantly, it's high scores, low scores, right in the middle. They're all over the place, right? Where it's like, and it's just right around that 50% range. And that's kind of how that should play out, right? Where it's like, if it's dead center in the middle, you've probably got a 50-50 chance of liking it.
Yeah.
So for me, in that middle range of having that decent score, it is only logical that those scores there in the middle, you're going to have a chance of liking it or hating it, and therefore kind of distribute it and visibly kind of communicate in that sort of way, right? Where you're like, hey, this is decent. It's an okay movie. It might not blow your socks off, or maybe it will, and that's where that middle of the road thing goes. And then as far as the lower ones, obviously it's like we've got bogus and heinous, where one kind of sounds worse and looks worse than the other. The other big thing is, if you aren't aware, haven't noticed it, I based our rating scale on like a loot scale for video games, and the color, as the colors are set out, the only difference is the red, because red makes sense for the negative, right? So I did the heinous in red, but from there on, it's a normal loot scale for video games. So, your bogus is green, so it's an entry-level loot, and then you've got your blue, your decent, your purple for your rad, and then your gold or yellow for most excellent. And so based it on that gaming scale, and I just thought that having a wider range with more variety and kind of spelled out in that way would be more relatable for, a standard viewer. There are people who really bounce off of or don't love the fact that we call things in the middle decent, but and that seems to be a hang up for a lot of folks. But it's like, I don't think things in that range mean bad. And when I use our scale and I put things in 50, I'm like, that's not a terrible movie.
Right. I'm not saying this is a fail of a movie.
It doesn't fail. It just didn't do what I needed it to do.
Right. And you can acknowledge like there's things good. Like, for example, this movie.
Right.
I had it as a bogus.
You're right.
But I can still see there's some redeeming quality, so I can put it up a little bit just so it's a low decent for me.
Right.
43%, sure. In grade school, that kicked me out of school because I failed the class.
Right.
But that's the problem, is people's mindsets.
Right.
I know a lot of people get hung up on a decent being in that 50% range.
Right.
It's not a decent if it's a 50%.
Yeah. And
that, think about it right. We're thinking about it differently.
Right. You just got to change how your brain works with this.
Yeah.
And I think for most people, it tends to click once you spend a little bit of time on the platform.
Yeah.
It's just once you're in there, once you're in that ecosystem and it all starts to kind of click, then you're like, okay, that works. And even we've had people that have at first have bounced off of it or struggled with it. And then over time, they're like, no, this actually, I like that, because just because I gave it a 50 doesn't mean I hate it. Like, and that's the thing. Yeah, I get it for the school grading scale, but that's not what this is. I don't think that everything should operate that way. It just doesn't make sense. Everything, and the world is not that black and white. There is some gray. And I wanted to make a rating scale that allowed for some gray area and everything in between.
Well, I think that's where the wording steps in.
Right.
So you grade it as a 50%, but you say it's a decent. Then in your mind, you can start thinking about it kind of differently. Like, okay, well, it wasn't the worst movie I've seen.
Right.
It's not a terrible movie, so I'm going to give it a 50% because I think it's a decent. Like, if you saw a movie and you're like, oh, the movie wasn't that bad, but it's not that great, how are you going to grade that? What do you think a 2.5 star is if you're going by the letterbox scale, or the worst case scenario like Rotten Tomatoes and their made up scale?
Yeah.
Like, and I get where people are like, I don't understand the scale, but it's like, if you step back, you can just look at the wording then.
Right. And the wording spells it out for you.
Right.
And that's the thing, is it is a different scale. It's not like any other one. And that was very much intentional. And I wanted to challenge people's expectations and how they viewed these things, and just kind of the lens that they looked through it with, because it did not feel to me like any other scales really properly represented the way that people think about it. Where it's like, even like I mentioned earlier, that new Superman movie, for me, I wasn't like over the moon about it. My score keeps going back and forth with it, but it's like, it was a fine film. And I think most people will say it's kind of it's middle of the road. Yeah. But that doesn't mean everybody's like, it's terrible, Right. And so that is kind of the thing, is to just try and look through a different lens and get that school grading scale out of your mind. That's number one. That's our biggest rule. Get the school grading scale out of your mind. It's bullshit. Who cares? It was created by the government. Fuck them. So that's how I've always sat with it. That's how I sit with this. So I hope that answers your question, dude. Jason, I appreciate it. Good question from you there. And I think you definitely got your money's worth out of that one. So thanks for the 2 for brother. And I hope that answers it, because people ask that regularly. So hope that helps. And I think that's going to be it, guys, for tonight's show. This has been fun. It's been real. Everybody take it easy, and we will see you again very, very soon. Later, guys.
I'm complex and I'm deep. I react spontaneously to people who want to figure me out. I'm not going to let anybody figure me out per se.